My bag, front line, my bag, front line. My bag. What's up, fight fans? And we're back at it with another edition here around One Sports TV. I'm your host, Edwin, just in case you didn't get that part. Um, no, I think I muted it when it was the thing. But yeah, I was in KO's chat, and you know what I'm saying? Listen, guys, I'm gonna keep it 100 right now. I don't need that dude. I don't need him. I'm just starting to realize that. He just needs people to try to shine on his bullshit debate show so that he could catch wins. But I've never asked him to do anything I never did. I went on there 3 times, debated him. So why don't you come to mutual territory? Cross the pond. Come on my show, right? So today I hop on his channel and I'm like, yo, how you doing? You know, I'm still trying to be courteous because I'm not an asshole, right? Still want the smoke. Let him know it, right? So he's still trying to be like big bad wolf, always leading by like this bully mentality, right? So he's like, drop your email in the chat, this, that, and I'm like, email, man. Yo, what are you talking about? I'm here right now. That's like seeing me in the street and telling me I'm gonna whoop your ass the next time I see you. What you mean the next time you see me? I'm here right now. Where do they do that at? I'm gonna whoop your ass the next time I see you. Ain't nothing between us but air and opportunity. Right? Ain't that your time to shine? So I hop on, I'm like, yo, I'm here now. No, picheera. He keeps pitching it. Oh no, I dropped email this. I'm make example. You can have a whole bunch of your fans. Bro, you man, you sound desperate, homeboy. You sound desperate to boost up your ratings. Bro, I don't want none of your fans. I don't need none of your subscribers. You can keep all that. In fact, you don't got anything I want. So I'm gonna take I'm gonna take my way. You don't dictate policy. If you want it, you know where I'm at. Why don't you just hit the link and hop on? That's it. I don't need him. I don't need him. Bro, I tried. I tried to pull up. I'm here. People in his own chat is telling him he's here now. He don't want it, bro. And I'm not gonna back you into a corner and because you nervous. I saw the nervous energy. I was like, yo, you know what? Have a good show. I'm out. I'm not gonna troll you, bro. That's not me. If he wanted it, bro, I told him more than once. What are you talking about? Next time you see me, drop an email. I'm here now. Forget that dude. Yeah, yeah, that's all he does. You know what I'm saying? Frontline, that dude is bogus, bro. I don't need him. But let's talk about what's important in the sport of boxing and why thousands of fight fans tune in here at Round One Sports Talk every day to get their boxing news. And we talk about the best fighters we have here today. And it's no secret, Naoya Inoue is one of the best fighters I believe we have in the game. And as you can see with all the young superstars right now coming up, you know, pretty soon, you know, there's much more to see than just Gervonta Tank Davis now. And I think Gervonta Tank Davis is getting backed into a corner because I really believe right here that Mr. Keyshawn Davis is really on a rise, due in part to a lot of activity. You see him in the ring, you're more familiar with him from his last win. And what has in between time, Mr. Tank Davis done. You know, and it's like you're starting to see a shift. And it's a good thing in actuality. You're starting to see a shift where like fighters like Abdullah Mason are being compared to Tank Davis where they were at in their career because they're making way out for the old in with the new. If you're not going to fight these guys, well, these guys will. We have some rising superstars to watch. And when I think of all these things that are happening in boxing, and I think about the men that are doing it the best, sometimes some of these guys are just not getting their just dues. The world is starting to know who Naoya Inoue is. And they're starting to put together what he did, in fact, is not easy. Fighters like Junto Nakatoni, Bam Bam Rodriguez are now all eyes are on them. They're expected to follow Naoya Inoue, whether they say it or not. That's what they expect from those kind of fighters. If you're saying Junto is ready for Naoya Inoue, well then shit. He's in the division he was in. Let's see. Do some shit. And I have to take, the fact that a lot of these fights sometimes have to do with right place, right time kind of moment, and the fighters willing to put it all on the line. I got to admit, Naoya Inoue got a lot of those kind of like moments where that the world didn't think that Paul Butler could beat him. But Paul Butler had what he needed. You have to understand this in the sport. You've already completed your dream of becoming a world champion, Paul Butler. Now it's time to cash in on what you have. The Naoya Inoue team was willing to pay heavy for that belt. What'd you get in the game for? To be a champion. You've already achieved that. Now it's time to take care of my family. And I got something you want. So in certain situations in boxing, you can market yourself and get top dollar for your hard-earned work. What's wrong with that? A lot of Naoya Inoue's fights and fighters did exactly that. From the American superstar Stephen Kubo Fulton to Marlon Tapales. See, Naoya Inoue had made himself the big ticket in the bantamweight division. Fighting him was that money grab fight, that kind of fight that can change your life. First, you get in the sport to see how good you are and how you compare against the best fighters in the world. First, then you want to see if you can become a world champion. Once you're there, maybe you might not have achieved everything you wanted, but an opportunity presents itself in the form of Naoya Inoue. No bantamweight in history has made the kind of money Naoya Inoue made in 2024 alone. $42 million. These guys don't make $1 million. Just one. So, when he, thanks to the fact that Naoya Inoue made himself this kind of fighter, fighters like Luis Pantera Nari, do you actually believe Luis Pantera Nari would have sold out a Tokyo Arena 55,000 fighting anybody else but other than Naoya Inoue? You think that Mexican dude can do that? Who sold that arena out? Who? How much money did he make? Would he have ever experienced anything like that in his life had it not been for Naoya Inoue. He can look back at that massive moment, Luis Pantera Nari, and tell his children, yo, look, I got video. I not only was I there, I was in the ring in the main event. I lost the fight, yeah. But on Luis Pantera Nari's record, it says, Naoya Inoue, bro, you shared the ring with that guy. Depending on how he ends his career, fighters like Stephen Kubo Fulton, and the list goes on. That's honor, bro. If that guy is being revered as the greatest talent of our generation, shit. You mean to tell me so far, it took the greatest talent of our generation to beat Stephen Kubo Fulton? That's nothing to hang your hat. You know what I mean? You could be like, yo, listen, I lost. But listen, look at the man I lost to. The more he achieves, the more he because he's got some more to I don't know where he's going to end up, but the more he achieves, wow, you can really say, I had the privilege to share the ring on one night with a fighter such as Naoya Inoue. And at the end of the day, isn't that what it's all about? Isn't that what it's all about? Sharing the ring with the best. Showing the fans, mano a mano, who's the best. In the sport of boxing, this is the one sport I truly can say we live in the show me state. You're going to have to show me. Am I right? Leading by like headlines and funny memes and talking shit, that's not how you get to the top in this sport. You can only play around with boxing until a boxer shows up. And soon, Rolly found himself beltless. Opportunity arise, there's the sport for you. Now he's fighting for another world title. Allegedly. I like what it's doing for the sport, so I won't shit on their fight any more than I've already have. Right? Because it's going to bring eyes. Devin Haney's allegedly going to be on that card. And I think that Devin Haney on that night is going to have to show the world. All these guys, congratulations to Keyshawn Davis for bringing us a belt home. He took a belt from Ukraine and brought it home. And that is to be commended. Thank you, young man, Keyshawn Davis. That's what we are in it for. Competition. So, it goes to show you that a lot of these guys in their small achievements are revered high. Keyshawn Davis is on an extreme high right now when fighters like Naoya Inoue just went into his third title defense for undisputed. He's putting all 4 belts on the line, time in and time out. Listen, let me tell you something. Kim, TJ Doheny, Luis Pantera Nari are all men chasing their dream. They got a phone call that could change their life. You mean to tell me that every fight should just be a cakewalk for Naoya Inoue? These are all men trying to rip his head off. They've probably trained the hardest they've ever trained in their life because of his name and who he is and the opportunity. And if you beat him, rematch, can you say, let's do it again? Right? So how can you say that any of his fights are ever easy. In this level of the game, when you're putting this much up, a veritably unknown Buster Douglas can come and take it all. No one knew who Buster Douglas was against the legend that was Mike Tyson. So don't sit there and tell me that Kim or TJ Doheny couldn't have played spoiler like Luis Pantera Nari almost hit a Grand Slam home run. How many of you went when you saw that man go down? So when they say, oh, these guys have no, they are professional boxers, right? Yes, they know how to throw a punch, right? They're in the division, yes, and they're competing, yes. He's dangerous. Is he fighting to change his stars? There's no measuring stick to a man's heart or will, or how far he's willing to go. Where is your measuring stick for that? How can you say that TJ Doheny was just going to fall over? Or that Kim kid. Bro, that Kim, he came in there popping shit. Yo, Naoya Inoue, I'm about to break him. Them belts, they mine. He's done. Yo, he didn't say it just like that, but I got right to the point. Naoya, yo, listen. I mean, these guys are fighters. And Naoya Inoue was going to have to put that man down like he did. Naoya Inoue is truly special. And for the fans that are not really so familiar with him, in comparison, when they talk about Naoya Inoue, just ask yourself this one question. Who are you comparing him to? Just one question. When you say he's not this, he hasn't done this, he hasn't fought this. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, since your perception of him is so high and your view of what he's doing does not impress you, well then please share with me who impresses you. I would like to know who you're putting him up against. And this is what I mean. I never did this. Hold on. I mean, I never locked in the wait up. Hold on. See, I had no intention on doing this, but all right. Like for instance, when I'm talking, I don't want to talk like I'm being arrogant or cocky or anything like that. I'm actually referring to when they talk about him, please, if he doesn't impress you, he doesn't have to impress you. But who are you comparing him to? For example, you see, right here is the first opponent Naoya Inoue has ever fought in his career. Mind you, he started his career at 19 years old. That's Naoya Inoue right there. He's 29 fights. He has 29 fights, 26 big ways by knockout, right? He has 173 rounds boxing experience. He has an 89% knockout ratio. He's 31 years old. He's 5'5" with a 67-inch arm reach. He is a Japanese fighter. I know, right? So check this out. When he started his career 2012. He was 19 years old, right? I believe that's correct. What is it? 2012. Yes, I am. So he started his career. He fought him, right? Okay, now O'Malley, he fought him in an 8-round fight, and he came into the fight 16-4. On his debut, he fought a fighter with 16 fights, 4 losses, and he went an 8-round fight. Now I would like you to let that soak in for a second, because when they say, for instance, okay, I don't know, they say, oh, who are you comparing him to? Okay, Let's compare him to someone then. All right. Then we'll compare him to a person of his equal, not just a cab driver, because you could take any cab driver. But this is arguably the king of the pound for pound division. Mr. Terrence Crawford, he has 41 fights, 31 big ways by knockout, right? He has 245 round experience. He has a 75% knockout ratio. He is currently 37 years old. He is 5'8 with a 74-inch arm reach. Now, Mr. Terrence Crawford started his career, his professional debut, right? Right here. His opponent was 2-0. He had a 4-round fight. It's right there. See it? 4-round fight. In fact, he had, count them with me: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Was that 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes. His first, not 10. Shit. Sorry, 10. His first 10 fights were 4-rounder fights. And after that, he had 6-round fights. As you can see here, he had 4 6-round fights. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 6-round fights. Then he finally fought an 8-round fight. So, by measure, Terrence Crawford fought 16 professional fights before he fought an 8-round fight. You see, that's a measuring stick. You see, Naoya Inoue started his career with an 8-round fight. He didn't fight a guy 2-0, 3-0. His first, if we put him, Gervonta Tank Davis, whoever you would like me to compare him to. And that's the question I ask. When they're talking about Naoya Inoue, I just would like to see, who are you comparing him to? I want to know, because I this is an educational boxing program, and I'm seriously asking a question. So he starts his first 2 fights, 8-round fights. His next 2 fights are 10-round fights. So within 4 fights, his 5th fight was a 12-round fight to present date. He only had 4 professional fights in his career. He's already going 12 rounds. For example, my young Puerto Rican star, Xander Zion, has not yet, to date, have a 12-round fight scheduled. That's how hard this shit is. And Xander Zion is a remarkable. Look at Abdullah Mason, Camille Moulton. Shit, has Keyshawn Davis ever gone 12 rounds? He was scheduled for the Baranchyk fight, but has he actually ever gone 12 rounds? And was that his first 12-round fight? So, this is my point. I'm not putting down any fighter here. I'm just showing you his greatness. Don't take this as me putting down a fighter because I'm comparing them and that I have any animosity towards these other fighters to put them down. No. These are actual records. This is what we're supposed to do. That's why you're supposed to pay attention to your career and your legacy. This is exactly what I'm supposed to do. And so when they're talking about Naoya Inoue and they're talking about these young prospects coming up now, they got some big shoes to fill. You can't just go on and say you're better than someone. Like Tank Davis tried to downplay Shakur Stevenson's career. You guys heard that. Did you guys let that shit go? Or did all of you guys go, damn, Tank? Really, Tank? He had 3 belts at 130, Tank. You had 2 separate belts. You didn't unify. You got 2 belts, but you lost one on the scale, then got one. Shakur almost became undisputed. How could you say the man didn't do anything? You see, so we can't allow boxing to go down that path where just because you're the loudest or you say some slick shit, it wipes away what this guy is actually doing. And he's setting the bar so high that I like it. Shit, maybe Abdullah Mason can come out and do some shit, man. What if it strives him later and like we actually, because this young man looks pretty good. All fighters got things to work on, so let's not go down that road. But Abdullah Mason looks good. I like Camille Moten, man. Yo, he's looking like he's starting to look like a beast, bro. Like he already looked strong when he looked like more like a kid. He looked like a little Tank. He's starting to thin out now. He's starting to look different, man. He looks like, yo, and he's defensively sound on the way in and out. He can get caught in exchanges. That's the name of the game. You're going to exchange. You're going to get caught sometimes. Come on. All this shit with a guy like, whoop, slip, 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 boom, 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 every time. That Superman way of thinking, it's not real. Xander Zion got stunned and they try to say something about him. Get the fuck out of here. Did that dude win a round? Did he win a round? So what the hell are you guys like? He's in a fight, right? Okay, then Xander Zion actually looked great. They try to like discredit. Oh, did you see him give? Did the guy win a round? Maybe one. Like I think that was a complete shutout. You feel me? Like, come on, guys. These guys are in fights. Let's keep it real. You know, it's not who gets dropped or stunned. It's how did you fare in the fight? What was the outcome? You won? How'd you win? You knocked them out. Oh, you stopped them. Oh. So what the fuck are they saying? There are some things in some moments in sports history that the great ones have what we call a magic eraser. Where that in the moment you can get dropped like Naoya Inoue. He had a magic eraser. Had he lost that fight, that would have been all over the headlines, that knockdown, that would have been rewinded. Even though they did somewhat, they'd have did all this. When Tom Brady was losing in that Super Bowl against Atlanta, all those reporters by third quarter, they had written 90% of their story. 90% of the story. All they needed, give this guy the MVP, seal the deal, and even the t-shirt press, they was pressing Atlanta won the Super Bowl. Working late night. Yeah, this one's in the bag. What did Tom Brady have? A magic sports eraser. That diving thing when they saw him, the guy running by him, that didn't take off, did it? That would have been in every headline. But the good ones, they have the ability to erase that shit. You ain't gonna be talking about how bad I looked because I turned around and won. And they can erase history. Right there live in the moment. All those reporters had to rip that shit up. Shh. They had to salute the GOAT. Naoya Inoue got dropped. Reporters was like, right? Naoya Inoue said, "You ain't writing that headline. There will be none of that." The great ones, they find a way. They find a way to win. How many headlines MJ erased? How many? How many Bird in the Garden? Cha. The great ones, man. I'm telling you. And Abdullah Mason got dropped twice. Them headlines with they was already typing. They was like, Abdullah's down. Ah! Abdullah was, you got to show your composure in this game. And in this game, also in my title, I put in the title description. We have more to watch now. I think that Tank Davis is getting in a position where that he's pushing himself into a corner, and we have more stars now. It's going to be hard to pay $89 to watch Tank Davis fight Lamont Roach when I can just watch fighters like Abdullah Mason, Xander Zion on Top Rank app, ESPN app. And I don't know how that's going to go now because I think they're going to break ties, but we'll figure that when we cross that bridge, right? And there's just more selection. Tank's not the only show in town. The reason why we watched him is because he was electrifying. He was an American star, and there wasn't really all that much to watch. Then all of a sudden, little by little, Tank, Devin Haney started making a little bit of noise. Shakur Stevenson, and there was just a little bit more to watch, but Tank was really the main attraction. With these young superstars that are coming up now, and the way that Keyshawn Davis is putting that fan pressure on Tank Davis. Now, if you ever watch my show, if you hear me say something negative about a fighter, stick around because I usually always tell both sides, and you guys know I love all fighters, but I am critical to some of these fighters. Hopefully they hear something I say, it'll light a fire under their ass and prove us all wrong. I would love nothing better for Tank Davis to turn around and fuck up some of these dudes. But he needs to do that. And until the day he does that, he can't just get my credit. My man, we're from the show me state. You're going to have to show us here at Round One Sports Talk. We just can't give it to you. So then when we got fighters like Naoya Inoue, and he's really doing some legendary Hall of Fame shit, like Terrence Crawford and Usyk, men like that are to be commended. They're the ones holding up our sport right now. America doesn't have a heavyweight champion. And what I saw in Jared Anderson, baby there, I don't think we're going to get one anytime soon. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Unless somebody just comes out straight out the woodwork. I don't think that Torres, I think he's on the smaller side of the heavyweights, of the gargantuan heavyweights we have now. So, and Frontline, listen, I checked out your boy there, right? Henry. And I looked at his fights. I watched his fights. The Diaz fight there, that was a close one. I saw 6, 7 of his fights, like 3 of them on highlights, but like 4 of them are full fights. I watched them. I watched his style, his technique, his strengths, his weaknesses. Good fighter, I would say. I would rank him B plus fighters like that. I'm not going to give him a small A, okay, because he's responsible for his career. He was responsible for taking that fight and looking like that. He might have not prepared or trained, but the responsibility of a fighter is, to be ready. Whether he had a fight upcoming or not, he should have been in shape. Had he been a little bit better in shape, he could have been prepared. So, you know, there were a lot of close fights that he had. He's a strong fighter, though. He's definitely a strong fighter, and I can see why you like him. I like him already, right? All fighters stand to have make improvements. Um, the one thing, why ain't they giving him his credit? Why haven't I heard of him like that? I know I've been focused on these other fights, and we're always going on these debates, and they require my attention. So sometimes I don't see every fighter and everything, but that's why I got you guys for. I always been transparent with you guys. You guys are my eyes and ears. Bring it to me. Let me see the next guy so that we can talk about him, bring him up, talk about boxing. This is what we're doing this for. Educational program here, not a debate show. We don't get here up here talking shit, disrespecting each other. No, we grown folk here at Round One Sports Talk. We could all talk. You know what I'm saying? So I saw and I checked out your man and stuff, and I'm just like, okay, but what's the problem? What's the problem? Yeah, I know of him. Um, Brian, he has a little name. We know of him. But Henry, I think I saw one of his fights, and I think what set him back was that fight that he took. And in the sport of boxing, when you take fights short notice, they shouldn't penalize you. In fact, they should allow you to get a full training camp and allow you to get that fight that you could have said to prove yourself. Had I had a full training camp, this is the version you would have got out of me. Just kind of like what they did with Kim. Next day, I woke up with Naoya Inoue knocked him out. He still had his 11 ranking in the WBO. It didn't budge. And the company, they felt like he did it to save the night type shit. 30 days notice, basically, because that's basically what he had. He was a standby from the moment Sam Goodman pulled out the first time when he suffered the first cut. So that was 30 days. So all he technically had was 30 days. Now, whether or not, he was scheduled to fight on a card, they pulled him off that card and he had already gotten a full training camp. That's what made him the most, the strongest of the opponents. Because when Naoya Inoue looked into it, before they put him on alert with the 30 days, they had already knew he had a fight scheduled. He was already in training camp. So, not like Henry, where that he didn't even train for this fight or whatever personal problems he was having in his life. Just like Subriel Matias is responsible for his loss in Puerto Rico and he has to make the road back, all these fighters are responsible for their career. But strong fighter, he would beat the shit out of Navarrete. That's a wrong style for Navarrete. Not that guy, not a fighter that's strong. He's the same. And when I broke down the fight with Navarrete, the one thing was that Navarrete was hitting these guys. He's fighting guys that kind of size, real tough men. And his opponents were way more skilled than like the Valdezes and the Navarretes of the division. This Puerto Rican dude was fighting like, like we get those real sneaky, great fights in the beginning of some of these guys' career because they're really using each other as a stepping stone. So what could have been a real title fight, you get it early. You ever see those kind of fights? You know what I'm talking about, right? And they pop off. I'm saying Henry's guys that he fought, they were tough. They were tough. They took big punches. They kept coming forward, and he that's not a good style for Navarrete. See, the one thing that Navarrete had, right? He's a bit of a wild man. Is that he'll want to sit in there and exchange. That dude right there would fucking rip Navarrete's body open, hit him with brutal uppercuts, and snap his head back. Navarrete, by the third, fourth round, he's gonna be hesitant. Maybe like there is a moment in fighting where that you take enough punches, you don't feel them anymore. You hear the sound of the punches, like the pow, pow, right? But they don't hurt as much as like the first, second, third round. And when you get like your juices flowing, right? And they don't hurt that much. But he's got enough endurance, enough weapons, and his gas tank has been tested that he'll give Navarrete, if he takes him to 12 rounds, I think he'll beat him. If not, stop him. Yeah. His style is too wild for his style that is more um he's a tighter fighter, Henry. He's way tighter, like so yeah, I mean there's a there's a lot of good talent coming up, man. What's going on, guys? He's dynamite with both in both hands. Um it was something else. Puerto Rican rum. I talked about it several times. I try not to get captivated in the moment, but that was some electrifying shit for the young man, wasn't it? 59 seconds, I think it was. He sidestepped them. He changed the trajectory of his punch slightly, and it hit on target. One punch knockout power he showed. I wanted to see more of him. He looked fast. Not only did he look fast, but he had good balance, good movement. He knew how to shift his weight. He was well seasoned for a young man of 18 years old. You could see on his arm he had the Olympic rings, so he has a silver medal, and he has a boxing experience with his father being a two-division world champion. you know um it's in his blood, but that doesn't always translate to success, like I hinted around to frontline when look at Julio Cesar Chavez and look at Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. That didn't go the same way, so just because your father or your mother was a good athlete, and it's hard when you come into the sport that your father or mother was, dominating in, you know what I'm saying? Because your mom could have played basketball and you could be in the NBA from the women's like that, it's the same sport, basketball. So you're not just awarded greatness. He had to go in there on that night and show it. He showcased. And when we say that when you're in there with a guy, kudos to both men, because you can't say that both guys got film on them, right? Maybe a little amateur shit, but that's fucking headgear and three. You're not gonna for the pros, right? You could take away a little bit, I guess, but you don't got no film on each other. It was a good move. It was a good counter to the movement. He cut angles well. Let's see where the young man goes from here and who he's gonna fight next. Abdullah Mason's next fight has already been announced, so that's good. He's already hopping back into the ring really fast, and I'll have more on that for you. And like I I think that some of these young guys, man, they're coming out the gate pretty polished, and I can't ask for anything better. Some guys develop faster and some guys don't. Not all men are created equal. Not all men understand certain things. There are kids I've seen, you know, that I've had the privilege to grow up around in the neighborhood, and their life took a different turn and they never really became a fighter or something. But I'm pretty sure you could relate to what I'm about to say. They were kids in my neighborhood. I'm trying to tell you, man, when I'm talking about 8, 9, 10 years old, maybe even younger, 6, 7, like that, you didn't have to teach them how to fight. They were throwing punches like grown men, good form, everything. They were like, when I was growing up. And I don't know about this era like this. I'm not going to diss it, but man, I remember watching two kids fight, man. And I was like, damn, somebody take that kid and make him a fighter. He'd probably be a world champion, right? And that was the thing that I've met a lot of young athletic kids, and not all kids are fortunate enough to have that kind of support system when they can't see their own way. When you look at these fighters, none of these fighters did this by themselves. I'm pretty sure a lot of these guys called it quit. Even the great Mayweather's father went to jail. He was lost. He went out to Las Vegas to live with his uncle, and his uncle couldn't deal with his shit. He gave him to like some Olympic coach. And that white dude is the dude that brought Mayweather to the Olympics. And he wanted to go pro. He went pro. Roger started training him. Mayweather didn't do that by himself. Not all these kids get to the sport where had they had made it there, they would have been better than some of the greats. So it's great when I get to see a young man or woman like blossom in the sport where they belong. You can see Camille Moulton is a fighter. Abdullah Mason is a fighter. Shakur Stevenson, guys like this, these guys are fighters. And they I'm glad that, even for all the controversy, man, fuck it. I'm glad Tank Davis gave me some of the moments he gave me, no matter where he ends up. You know, his shit's gonna be talked about and debatable, but we don't always have to look at the bad, bro. I love boxing, man. I love fighting, man. Tank gave me some moments, man, and I appreciate that. Sometimes we gotta actually promote this damn sport, don't we? There's time for debates and there's time to figuring shit out. But this is boxing. And I love to see two dudes, man. Let's get it. And man, that moment that brings you out of your seat, boom, and you see him fall, and you're like, oh, or that comeback. You see your guy go down, and he gets up and he starts willing himself back into the fight, and all of a sudden, boom, a big shot, and he's back in it, and you're jumping up. That's what I live for. That's what I live for. So, although a lot of these fighters come with controversy, you know, there are some of these fighters that are doing remarkable things right in front of you. And I think Naoya Inoue is a really special fighter, you know, and I'm glad to watch him. I'm honored to watch a man fight like that and pull this shit off. He's doing shit I fantasized or dreamt about. Getting all 4 belts. Fuck it, I'm crazy. I'm vacating all my belts. Edwin, you don't need to do that. I don't, because if you lose when you move up, you can come back down. You'll still have all your belts. No, I'm going that way. I wish I was that tough. Terrence Crawford didn't do that shit. Fucking these dudes was Devin Haney, I think finally relinquished the last few belts the day he walked in the ring with Regis Progress. That's how unsure these fighters were. This man vacated all 4 belts and said, I'm not holding up the division. You guys have at it. 30 days after winning all 4 of them. And said, I'm about to go up to 122 and fight Stephen Kubo Fulton, the undefeated American champion, undisputed champion. First. I want him first. And I'm vacating all my... So the pressure was on him. He was no longer a champion. For the first time, Naoya Inoue was actually naked coming into the fight. But there were 2 belts on the line. He said he ain't going to be naked for long. Let me get them belts. Yo, it's just... That's stuff that's video game shit. That shit like... I wish I was that tough. I would like to believe I am. And I think I'm a pretty tough dude, but I try to check my ego and be like, bro, what the fuck you know about 4 belts, Edwin? Nothing. You know what it's like to vacate 4 belts? Nope. They don't even say you would do some shit like that, bro. I have arguments with myself. I like check myself because I don't know what anything like that is like. I win 1 belt, I wouldn't want to put it down. After like a week, it'll like, and I want more or something. Yeah, probably. And maybe after I win 2, they won't get, but I've never done no shit like that to tell you that I would make a decision like that. And then after I get there and I do it again, I mirror myself in the next weight division. More video game shit. Within 6 months of vacating 4 of my belts, I already acquired a new set of 4 belts in a new weight division. Within 1 calendar year, I acquired 8 belts. Video game shit. My last 24 fights have been world title fights in a row. For 15 world champion, I knocked out 11. And I'm on to my 25th world consecutive title fight throughout 4 weight divisions. Video game shit. Want me to type in Floyd Mayweather? What fighter would you like me to type in that we can gonna go compare him? Anybody in the bantamweight division? Any champion in history? Anybody? Julio Cesar Chavez? Anybody? And I mean anybody. Anybody's name you can type in right now in this chat. I'll type him in. I'll put his record up and I'll put them side by side. Terrence Crawford got 19 world title fights, I think consecutive or whatever. He's not going to beat the Japanese superstar fighting one more fight versus Saul Canelo Alvarez. It's not going to beat him. The only thing, and then Terrence Crawford was like, I'm going to be undisputed, right? Because he might be, come to think about it, because if everything goes according as planned, right? Because I haven't got that far in my head because I don't think Terrence is winning. So I haven't gone that the other way. I just don't think he's going to win. That's some Superman shit right there, right? But let's just break it down for, okay, check it out. Saul is going to fight in May. He's going to fight the Skull Dude for the IBF. He's going to win that. He's going to be unified again. By the time Terrence Crawford fights him, he'll have all 4 belts. So he'll be, holy shit. But that whole scenario, even me figuring that out, is just another distraction for me as a fan to buy into this bullshit ass fight. Their names themselves, they're gonna sell $1 billion or something, right? Because they're giants in the sport of boxing. When you're talking about dollars and cents, that fight makes all the sense in the world, you know. But when you talk about fair competition, it's not a good fight. It might be a good fight to the fans and this and that, but to us human boxers, fighters, jumping up three weight divisions, that's unheard of. You're not asking Terrence Crawford to fight a normal boxer. You're asking him to fight Iron Chin, Saul Canelo Alvarez, with his evading ability and the fact that no fighter in 61 fights has never even put him down. He's been all the way upward to 168. You mean a guy that's barely a 154 pounder, a true 147 pounder, is going to come up and do what? To who? I don't care how much your skills or whatever, like, Terrence, you could be all the skills you want. You've never fought at that weight division. You packing on weight and being able to go 12 rounds, 36 minutes with a professional fighter is a complete different story. Yeah, you got skills. You're not going to look like Terrence Crawford on that night, and I already know it. The world is asking a lot from Terrence Crawford, and he's selling that O to Turkey Al Sheikh. Terrence is cashing in on that O. So what? You retire 41-0. You still didn't beat Mayweather, or 43-0 by that time. You still didn't beat Mayweather. And if, just to remind all of you fight fans out there, Floyd Mayweather's 50-0 record, you do realize that's a personal thing, right? That's a personal record. There's no award in the Hall of Fame for you retiring 50-0. There's acknowledgement for what your record is. It's not like when you, hey, if for retiring 50-0, that's not a record. Anybody can retire undefeated. That doesn't make you the best fighter in the world. No. So now Terrence Crawford realizes that retiring undefeated is not as glamorous as it's all meant out to, to look. So what he decided to do is to cash in on his achievements. He's really gambling on himself. Yes, he has the right to. He's fucking Terrence Crawford. I guess if I was Terrence Crawford and I was a multiple athlete like Terrence Crawford, because you got to understand, like, see, I know fighters, I'm boxers, right? I've been in camp with few boxers. I've been around boxers. I've trained with fighters. And sometimes to get away from shit, we go into other sports just to mess around. We'll go take a basketball. We'll go on a basketball court. And some of these boxers cannot play basketball. Boy, let me tell you, they are dysfunctional. They can't move. They can't. It just looks horrible. Sometimes we take them to a baseball field, and it's just like, guys, get back in the car. Get back in the car. You guys are going to get hurt, right? They're not athletes, like in the regards of, or athletic in every sport. The one thing about Terrence Crawford, he actually is. Have you ever seen Terrence Crawford's videos wrestling, playing basketball, baseball, you name it? He's good at everything. He could have picked whatever sport he basically wanted, I think. Probably could have been a UFC fighter, and a pretty damn good one. He's real athletic, and I know all of this about Terrence Crawford. But still, I can't take away from the fact that that's three weight divisions, my man. You're asking for too much. And these fighters got to know the responsibility of their career. just like Naoya Inoue, right? And a lot of the fans wanting to push him to 126. I have to remember where Naoya Inoue came from the 108-pound weight division. And I got to ask myself, is he maxed out? Has he hit his ceiling? Are we asking too much from him? Hasn't he done enough? Now, Terrence Crawford beats Saul Canelo Alvarez at 168, and he has all 4 belts. Guess what the situation becomes for Naoya Inoue? Means that Terrence Crawford beat him again to unifying all 4 belts in a 3rd weight division. He would go down in history as the first man to do so. And he would have 5 weight divisions. He would pass Naoya Inoue in weight divisions and accomplishments and achievements of unifying in 3 separate weight divisions. Now, if Naoya Inoue wants to stamp what I believe is stamped, and not just being a great boxer, but being one of the best to ever do it. And the way you do that, you do some shit. Now, would that put pressure on the Japanese superstar? 100%. The competitor that man is, Naoya Inoue, how competitive he is, he's not going to walk away from that. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. He's right there. He's already the best Japanese fighter Japan has ever seen. He's already crossed that plateau. What he's searching for is greatness, complete greatness. He's going to try to do some shit that if you try to follow him, it's going to be tough. Just ask Patrick Mahone. The legacy that is Tom Brady, what he did, it's going to be tough to mirror him. You're going to have to do TB12 because it don't look like Patrick Mahomes is on TB12. He looks fatter every year, right? So if you're going to chase Naoya Inoue, you're going to have to do his Naoya Inoue stuff. By Terrence Crawford completing that, I think he'll try it, Naoya Inoue. He'll go for it. Whether he succeeds or not, I think he might just go for it. See, Naoya Inoue understands the responsibility of the fighter. He understands that if he takes that fight and you beat him, he's not going to say that, oh, you blimped me up, it was a disadvantage. No, because he knew the mission. He signed the contract and he took the challenge. He knew what the challenge was ahead. If he fell in combat, well, then you were the better man. But at least Naoya Inoue wants to know that he was responsible for the fight he took. That's why he didn't make a lot of these weight jumps just spontaneously. From 115 to 118, he fought 7 times, I believe it was. And then he finally made a weight jump. Here he's going on his 6th fight in the division, which is going to be in Las Vegas, which, please, let's touch up that super chat for me, you know what I'm saying, and show the love, right? That he definitely knows the responsibility of that. You know, just moving up throughout the divisions. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure anymore. Sometimes I look at him, I see sparring footage, and I notice that in that sparring footage, he's actually heavier than that fight is scheduled. And I say to myself, yeah, but you gotta play the situations out all the way. These guys are cutting weight when they rehydrate. How much weight could Naoya Inoue fight in that weight? And what would he look like? You see, if you look at Naoya Inoue, some of his last fights like Marlon Tapales fight, right? And you saw like, I don't know, I would say like the Luis Pantera Nari fight, right? Where that some of the fans and some of the people say he didn't look quite the same like he did at 118. Like he was so fast and explosive at 118. He was just different. And now they're starting to see their superstar Naoya Inoue with every time he enters the ring, it's a little bit more less definition than he was like at 118, but you could still see he has it, but he's also acclimating to the division throughout the courses of fights. And that's just moving up one weight division. And we're talking about a guy, arguably, is probably the best fighter we have in today's era. And if you view Terrence Crawford in the same category as you do Naoya Inoue, he moved up just one weight division. And he's still acclimating to the division. You're asking Terrence Crawford to do what? Jump up 3 weight divisions? Do you really think he's that Superman? When you got guys like Naoya Inoue so freaking skilled, he still ain't left 122. Because just that one weight division to 126, he's got to be ready for that. And if a man like that realizes that, he must be looking back with his popcorn, going, damn, Terrence, fuck it. I guess sell that old baby. Because not no real fighter or coach really believes he can pull that off. I'm not sure if Bomac believes that. He'll never admit it, right? Terrence Crawford's on the scale, 180, whatever. So what? That doesn't mean you can move like Terrence Crawford in your own skin on that way. And then Saul's dirty team, right? You've seen what they did. Yeah, we'll take the fight. No rehydration claw and no weight claw. You know, like Tank did to Ryan Garcia. He hit him with the double whammy. Oh man. I mean, I would be so happy and so impressed at Terrence if he actually pulls some shit like that off. But I don't try to psych myself out because that's what I say to myself. Recognize bullshit when you see it, Edwin. Why? Because you want to, the majority doesn't want, hey, Edwin, why don't you just, support Terrence? I am supporting Terrence Crawford. Do you hear me telling any lies of my opinions? No, this is my opinion on the man. I don't think he got a shot in the dark. I think they're setting him up. I think he sold his O. I think that's his business if he did that. If he's getting paid heavy for that O, Terrence, get your money, baby. You know what I'm saying? There's no shame in that at all. This is what he did all this hard work for, to get that kind of bag. I see it. And then if I'm looking at it like that, I'm just gonna watch a fight, But my hopes and expectations of really believing that Terrence Crawford is gonna go in there and pull one of the biggest upsets. Like, you guys are like, oh, Saul is not fighting David the Monster Benavidez. He's ducking him. What that means? He doesn't have any skills now. That man knows how to manage a fight. He can punch. He can take a punch. and this is in his own weight division where he doesn't have to sacrifice anything. And Terrence Crawford coming into the fight will be how old? 38 years old? Tell me again how Terrence Crawford is going to win this fight. Nah, they sold their names, and I think it's fucked up because Terrence ain't gonna retire undefeated. But when I calm down and I assess the situation, that's not up to me. That's up to Terrence Crawford. That's his. That's it. He's a grown ass man. He gets to decide what his body of work and where his career got him to, and what sacrifices to live his life for his kids and making them a better future. Sometimes you gotta dare to be great. Yeah, there's an opportunity of him losing. He knew that when he signed the contract. That was no secret. Yeah. One of these guys, well, no, Saul doesn't have to worry about losing because he's already defeated. So Saul can take him down with him. You know, it's what Mexico wants. But Turkey's gonna pay him, and congratulations to Terrence Crawford. He takes the fight. I'll tune in, of course. But in competition standard, I'm like, nah. I mean, I could see if they told Saul to drop down and weight. Saul drops down in weight, at least one division, and Terrence goes up a division. Now he's sacrificing and he's adding. Why does it have to be you're in your own and you gotta sacrifice? Come on, man. I don't know. Oh, what's up, Secret Dancer? What's up, guys? I just turned on the chats again. Just call him. He looked 14 years old, his box pick. You want to see Naoya Inoue move up? Y'all want to throw him into the fires then already. Nick Ball, one of the, yeah. What? Whoa, 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 whoa. What the? Did I read that wrong? Nick Ball, one of the. Yeah, he did say some crazy shit. I mean, destroy? You couldn't just say beat. You had to add the word destroy? What would ever give you the impression that any man destroyed Naoya Inoue? He's a tough dude. I do remember he got his orbital broken in the second round. He went 10 rounds with a fractured orbital. And in the ninth round, Donaire broke his nose. He won the fight. So if you're talking about taking big shots by Nick Ball and Naoya, what? Nick Ball's gonna do what? To who? What you think, Naoya Inoue can't take a punch? Yo, Luis Pantera Nari hit him with that shot. I guarantee it. Any other fighter, he knocks him out with that punch. Naoya Inoue has a beard on him. He can take a punch. I don't know what things you think that what kryptonite or one punch stunning power Nick Ball has. It's usually accumulation of punches where that he's breaking the guy down round through round. Yeah, okay. I don't think Nick Ball's going to hit Naoya Inoue that many times. If on average, Naoya Inoue technically is one of the hardest, lowest percentage of boxers that actually gets punched in a fight. In fact, most of the success that the guy's got, he has to give it to them to give them false sense of confidence. A Nick Ball star fighter, a style fighter, Naoya Inoue's made a career of knocking those guys out. Like clean. Marlon Tapales, Luis Pantera Nari, all Nick style ball fighters. And the list goes on. What does Nick Ball do that can tell you, oh shit, Naoya Inoue's out of his league? Really? I think Nonito Donaire is way more skilled. I think Emmanuel Rodriguez is more skilled. There's a lot of fighters. Nick Ball is a pressure fighter. He relies on his brute strength and blunting attack, pressure, push you up against the rope, bludgeon the guy, type thing. You know, beating guy like Navarrete, let's be honest. Is Navarrete an elite boxer? He's a winner. Yeah, I gotta admit, Navarrete's a winner, right? Shit like that. Fighters like that. You know, but are they elite fighters? Sharpshooters? Would they be in trouble against sharpshooter fighters like Naoya Inoue that can just step back with one punch and clean your clock? I'm gonna tell you right now, there has never now been a concern with anyone's questioning if Naoya Inoue's power is gonna transfer to 126. That motherfucking power transferred five weight divisions, in fact, and he hasn't missed a beat. Did you see that shot just hit Kim with? The shotgun punch heard around the world? That's what kind of punching power he's on. I'm gonna tell you right now, he's just gonna go to 126. He's gonna bring that power with him. Let Nick Ball get crazy. He's gonna rattle his brain around in his head. I think Nick Ball is a great fighter. I think it'll be a pressure fight, but Naoya Inoue is gonna get his perfect range and timing. He's real. He has a knack for that. The when to hit you, the when and the where. Naoya Inoue is sharp, accurate. He's never out of position to throw the next punch. His evading ability is good. His defense is excellent. His footwork is not like flashy, but he has smart feet. He knows how to cut an L, angles. Naoya Inoue knows how to shift in and out. And that first step that Naoya Inoue has is explosive. He's going to fucking rock Nick Ball, bro. And he's also going to rock Angela Leo. I also think he's going to fucking, now that I start to like look at it, he's going to figure Espinoza out. He'll figure him out. He can't hide his torso. And then there's only going to leave one more guy. That's going to be that rematch. If he takes the fight or he doesn't run Stephen Kubo Fulton, I want to see if he backs up all that shit and says, he didn't beat me. I was getting big for the division. I was weight drained. I had to make a lot, a massive weight cut. But now that I'm at 126, I feel better. I feel in shape. Yeah, well, let's see. It's all good talking shit when Naoya Inoue is still down there. Soon as he busts open that door in that weight division and makes it be known that he's there, I want to see these guys beat him. I think Nick Ball's a strong fighter. I just don't think he has the type of skills to catch up to Naoya Inoue. His footwork game and his elusive ability is enough to see Nick Ball's punches coming. Nick Ball's going to have to take what he got coming. The only success I see Nick Ball having is the way that Luis Pantera Nari had. One crazy thing about these kind of fighters, elite fighters, if you hit them with that shot, you better go back to the drawing board, figure another way to land it. They study these kind of things and they make what we call boxing corrections. I don't really see too many of these guys beating him. Future guys that I thought that can catch up to him, and it would have been a great, exciting fight in a what I would have to see type shit would have been that Junto Nakatoni kid, right? I thought that Junto with his long arms, he mixed it up, but you could clearly see that Naoya Inoue hits harder and it's faster. And Naoya Inoue has a better selection of punches than Junto. But Junto's smart, long, crafty. He can punch with you and he can take a punch. And he's big for the division. So I thought that would be a good fight. Now, Bam Rodriguez, for me, Um, you know, it's that would have been like a what if fight type fight. I don't think Bam catches Naoya Inoue. I think the maximum Bam should go is 118. That's it. I don't think Bam should move up from there. I like the way Bam looks at these weights though. And I think he could have a lot of success down there. I don't think that Bam Rodriguez technically needs Naoya Inoue, but it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt. I just think that they're too far apart for that fight to be a reality. But someone as skilled as Bam or Junto needs to show up. He needs to give Naoya Inoue a much closer, better fight. I don't always want to watch a Naoya Inoue fight and just sit here and say, "Oh, he's gonna win." No, I want to see a fight where I'm like, "Wait a minute," because that's what I live for. I enjoy watching this man win, but when I watch him win, I realize why he's winning. And because he's truly levels above all these other guys. And because you're better than all these other guys, what? We got to trash your success and call your fighters tomato cans because you're making it look that easy? Well, if it was that easy, why has no one mirrored what he's done? Why can't these guys just at least go on a winning streak, damn it? Everybody down there in those weight divisions, in the bantam, super, light, they're all killers. They're lightning in a bottle. That's a tough weight division to rule. So, see, and then this is why it also makes it tough on Naoya Inoue too, right? If Terrence Crawford pulls that shit off. Why? Okay. Here's another scenario too. See, because Terrence Crawford would only have to beat one guy to get all four belts. He would have to beat Saul Canelo Alvarez. But Naoya Inoue would probably have to go to 126 and fight every guy individually. There's no unified world champions up there. There's just not one guy with all four belts. That's why Terrence got a lot to fucking win on that night. That's why I'm saying it was the same thing with the Jamel Charlo twin. That huge ass carrot that they dangled in front of him. Hey, Charlo twin, you stand to be the first man in boxing history not to win 8 belts in a calendar year, but to win 8 belts in one night. To acquire 8, you already had to have 4. You win him his 4. You got 8 belts in one night. But in about 10 seconds, they got to strip you for one of those WBOs. Because as we all know, you cannot hold 2 WBO world championships in 2 separate weight divisions, no matter how big the leap. They'll honor the moment. Yup, you got 8 belts, now strip. For the Hall of Fame, they'll allow it until they take that one. So that's how they'll go. But when they tell Jamel Charlo you'll stand to make 8 belts, what did Saul Canelo Alvarez stand to gain on that night? A title defense. That's it. Did Saul, can he win 8 belts? No. Would you give Saul the ability on one night to stamp your name in the Hall of Fame, possibly as the greatest fighter to ever live? Push over Muhammad Ali, push over Floyd, 8 belts simultaneously? Who the fuck could argue you? But Saul didn't stand to win none of that. All that was for Jamel Charlo. And what happened? It was such a far-fetched story to ask a person to do that they had to dress it up with all these headlines. 8 belts. Jamel Charlo fighting for Saul for his 4. Jumping up this, do that. They had to distract you from the truth. One weight division is tough enough. That's what they got to do. Come on, silent dancer. Don't be butthurt, bro. I know you ain't leaving. You gonna stay right there. You gonna stay right there and watch. Yeah, you are. What you want me to talk about your favorite fighter? Who's your favorite fighter? Huh? Nick Ball? Nick Ball's your favorite fighter? Is that what you want me to do? Huh? Well, it's not gonna happen. Naoya Inoue is the best fucking fighter in the world. And what other channel can you ever go on and hear about Naoya Inoue? And that's sad. That's sad because it says it's, you know, in a sport where we're trying to find out who the fuck is the best fighters in the world, man. Right? And Silent Dancer here, he obviously has a few favorite, and that's okay. It doesn't make him a bad fan, you know, as long as he's a fan of the sport. And I I love all boxers, man, but it bothers me when these little guys have to do twice the work just to get the recognition of some of these glamour divisions. And there's guys like Rolly getting these mega fights with Ryan Garcia and all this spotlight attention. And there's a guy like Naoya Inoue that the people barely know. That kills me inside, man. It does. That's why I advocate for Naoya Inoue the way I do. There's enough channels talking about Tank Davis and the same old shit over and over. Devin and Shakur, same shit, you know, that I don't mind talking about a great one. And if you can't hear me talking about, don't worry. Yeah, I'll talk about something else eventually. You'll be back, you know. But great talk isn't for everyone. I get it. I get it. But for the people that are tuned in now, they know a great one when they see one. We can't wait to see him back in the ring. I can't wait. I want to see him in there already. You know, and I'm really trying to head out to this fight in Las Vegas. So I'm gonna really need you guys' support, you know, on this one. And yeah, I'm gonna do everything possible. You guys are watching me, you know, live out, you know, this journey that I had since I've been covering boxing. And my journey is to meet these fighters and to interview these fighters, and you know, and to bring you um boxing content, you know, and great insight. And I feel that some of these fighters do not get their just dues. And I only have one mic and one voice. um if there's fighters that you think that are not getting their just dues, I tell you guys this all the time: put their names in the chat. Put their names in the chat. There's fighters you want to talk about, you know, and if there's anything you would like to talk about, we can, you know. So let me drop the link here too. I started off the live stream, said what I gotta say. See if Frontline, these guys want to come on today, or are they taking a light today? Because or we can we can take it from here. And you see me Frontline today. I was trying to tell KO, bro. I was like, yo, listen. The homeboy said everything but come on the show, right? You know how they are when you pull up on them. They all mouth until they find out you there, right? Yeah, man. And I feel that this decision that Bob Arum made to bring him to Las Vegas is a good decision, but I also check Top Rank on a weekly basis or so whenever I'm in there to see, because you can also find out if these fights are confirmed or official, and the location has been worked out, because they'll have their next opponent in box rec, and it'll be highlighted like in yellow right there. And then also like in Ticketmaster, if you start seeing that they might not be start selling the tickets yet, but they'll post the names and the event. And then when they're given the okay, then they'll start selling tickets and so forth. But those are little tricks and ways to see if some of these fights are real. Kind of like Subriel Matias and Teofimo Lopez. And I wanted to see that. And when I didn't see that stuff, what kept me engaged in that fight being, I kept saying to myself, well, it's going to be a possibility because although I don't see it written in or I don't see no ticket thing, I'm actually seeing Subriel talk about it and Tio. So I was like, no. And then it didn't, for whatever reason, didn't come together. So shit, I was like, all right, boxing for you, you know. There's my man right there. What's up, bro? Who's this? Where you at? Oh, Carlito. What's up, Carlos? How you doing, Carlos, man?
What up? What up, round one? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I was just making sure that I'm connected. Yeah, I'm doing good. Doing good. This is a good week
Yeah,
of
man.
boxing coming up.
Yes, yes, another big week of boxing. And I'm already seeing these things with Shakur Stevenson and him doing that hand grip and them saying that he had the strength of like a 20 something year old woman or whatever. Um, you know, these guys got to slow down with a lot of that stuff. Yeah, they had Shakur Stevenson pull the thing. Who's to say that Shakur Stevenson wasn't smart enough to squeeze that low and give that impression so that you don't walk into a big shot? Same thing I said when I saw Ryan Garcia drink that big beer on the scale. I said, what makes you think that that's beer in that thing? That was an open. He could have poured that and put water in it. You don't know. And
Yeah,
Mayweather,
it's just everybody because Shakur's coming off a hand
yeah,
injury,
yeah.
surgery, and they see that scar on his fist, and then you add that with the grip, so people's like, oh, I don't know, he's gonna pack a punch to stop Schofield,
Okay.
stuff like that. I still got
Oh,
Shakur beating him. I was schooling him, but it's just I can see what they're trying to do.
okay. All right, Carlos, check this out. You're coming into a big fight. I bring you onto my podcast. Carlos, you're coming into a big fight. You're a champion. And I bust out this device that tests hand grip. I reach over, I tell you, Carlos, man, why don't you know this is going to go on for the world to see. You're not stupid. Would it ever cross your mind, Carlos, sitting there to squeeze that soft?
Maybe he wants the world to go against him, or have you know
Right.
people to
Because
you
and
you
then
know what I mean?
it's gonna give Schofield a sense is that oh he ain't got no punching power. Go ahead and walk into that. Then, then, then my spider senses went off, and I had to say to myself, Edwin, what the hell does the scar on his hand got to do with his grip? It's a separate muscle. This is here, and this is here. And if you know how to grip your hand, you would know as a fighter. Like, for instance, right now, this is a test to fighters in the world. Out of all your fingers to make a fist, what is the most important finger out of all five? There's only one. There's one
Uh,
finger you cannot do without. Well, you can't do it without your thumb because you wouldn't be able to make a fist that there, but you can go like
yeah.
this, though, right? You can still go like this. And if you go like that, you still got a pretty good, but there's just what your pinky. Your pinky, it what makes your fist. Try to make a fist right now without your pinky. Go ahead. Tell me how strong that is. You ain't
Uh,
going no, you ain't going nowhere.
like with no
Your
pinky, you said?
your pinky, yeah. Have your pinky extended out like that and make a fist without your pinky right now. You don't got to punch.
You
If
don't,
you do like this with just your pinky, now tell me how hard your fist is right now. All you need to make your fist is that pinky and that thumb. That's what you need. Okay? Now,
Yeah.
as far as grip goes and gripping something, now my what I would have took from it was the length of time, 36 minutes, you would have to contract and open your hands. How strong with the gauze can you force your hands down and open to continue to make a fist? Now, and if that device, he was dumb enough to do his full strength, that tells you that that hand only got 33% of doing this all night. That's what the question would have been. You see, at some
Yeah.
point, your hands are going to be heavy and your grip is going to be weak. And if your grip is weak, you can't make a fist. You understand? You
Yeah,
see?
I'm listening.
So, 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 so when he did that to Shakur, bro, I've been in trouble before in my life. They've had me in a situation. Yo, let me see if you can. Man, I know when you want me to play myself, and I play dumb, and I do certain things, because Shakur Stevenson, you meet. There's no way in God's green earth he's coming into one of the biggest fights. He has that surgery,
And I
but
committed to that fight 100%.
well, it's not 100%. No fighter goes in a fight 100%. I don't believe that. But the ability to go like this, Poppy. And when he did that stupid thing, I was like, bro, you couldn't play it off that you didn't squeeze it hard enough to pass a woman's strength, which you didn't think they had a chart. So it goes to show you his hand is not that weak. You wouldn't be a boxer with a hand that weak.
Yeah,
You,
I'm not taking it like literally. I'm just saying what the people are commenting about it.
oh no, I
Um,
hear it, but
you know,
I think he
I
played everybody.
yeah, yeah. I think honestly, like I'm looking at Floyd Schofield's face, and no one's talking about how many bruises he got on his face. And have you seen how many bruises he got on his
It's
face? He's
hard.
been marked up. That's
Yeah,
hard
hard
sparring.
training, fighting. They got him fighting lighter, faster
But
guys.
let me ask you a question. His face being, having a bruise like that, you know what I mean, marked up for a Shakur fight is kind of like, is it really that necessary? Because Shakur, as we know, don't throw a lot of punches in each round. It's more defensive, and he's like, you understand what I'm saying?
No, I believe that it's all necessary going into the biggest fight of your life, of your career, your first world title fight. You leave no stone uncovered. I don't care how Shakur trains, it's how you train. I train you that hard, so on the night of the fight is easy. If you train that hard in training, the fight's gonna look easy for you. 'Cause you're gonna be like, shit,
Yeah.
I trained harder than this. See? So that's the way you want to go into your training. When you're
So
fighting Shakur Stevenson, you're gonna have to go into some. So yeah, go ahead.
does that tell you? Because I'm trying to understand like what is gonna be Floyd Schofield's game plan against Shakur? Is he gonna sacrifice to receive one or two, three punches by Shakur to give one of his? You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Nah, I already see what Schofield's game plan is. It's for his dad to make up every excuse a week leading into the fight. Jay, when he loses, that's their game plan. His father is already prepared. You hear all these accusations against Shakur and the testing and all this others and Snap and um, he's not talking about his son winning. He's talking about things. So when his son loses, he has things to say. Um, I think that young Schofield is in over his head against Keyshawn, where their styles are definitely In order for Schofield to have success, he would literally have to pin Shakur Stevenson to the rope or in the corner. Do good luck with that. Good luck with that with a kid that
Yeah.
evasive, now that knows how to get out of the corners, how to slide back, how to properly, you know, get out of situations, and good luck with that, brother. He's
So
gonna get frustrated all night. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
This Riyadh card for February 22nd, this Saturday. Man, you don't think any upsets is gonna happen?
I think and knew at the main event.
So you okay? All right.
Yeah, I just said it in a nutshell right there. I think and knew. I don't
But like
look.
because we started off with Joshua Buasi with Canelo Smith, Big Zane with Kabe. You know, Kabe is undefeated heavyweight.
Oh,
Then you got Daniel Dubois versus Joseph Parker. Virgil Ortiz, Magic Moss. I'm looking at these fights. I'm like, these fights are not one sided. Like, this fights can go either way. You know what I mean?
look, the Virgil fight can go either way,
Yeah,
right? The Josh Parker fight versus Daniel Dubois can go either way.
yeah.
Um, uh,
The Caballon and Big J.
it can go either way.
Yeah,
Either way, because I see success on both sides, and look, for as hot as Dubois is right now, coming off that knockout on AJ, Parker did put down Dante Wilder. Um, but Parker looked good fast against other heavyweights too. And he looks ready. He's big, he can take a punch. He can work off his jab, for a heavyweight, and he can counter. So I don't count him out in that fight. Then you look at Virgil Ortiz, and you look at the performance that Israel did against Terrence Crawford. You say with 10 professional fights, damn, he took the number one pound for pound, the distance. He was never like really like wobbled or staggered, or I could say he was hurt. So if you got a measuring stick, right? First of all, I'm coming into this fight already had fighting the guy you avoided for 2 years. You were Virgil Ortiz, was Terrence Crawford's WBC mandatory for over 2 years. Never put in the paperwork. Never fought him. And this guy's coming into the fight saying, although I lost to him, I did what you didn't do. Now, Virgil wants a measuring stick. He says, okay, I might have not, and sometimes he was honest. He wasn't ready for him. But if he can beat Ismail, and there's different scenarios. If he can stop him, knock him out, beat him in more impressive fashion, it would give him a measuring stick with the man that shared the ring with Terrence Crawford. It would
yeah.
boost you up as a fighter. It would give you more confidence for the future, and maybe you won't be so scared to fight him. So, yeah, big
It's
fights
a
on the card.
it's a big fight. It's really good. The Turkey is giving us fights that are not one sided. You know what I mean?
$25 too.
Yeah, yeah. And I seen that take interview, and it was I watched it to try to get a good understanding of
Yeah,
take why he acts that way,
right.
why he's not interested in these fighters like Shakur, Keyshawn, and you know like Keyshawn just got a belt. He hasn't done nothing to his eyes because Take is saying like, oh, basically he said that I give these fighters uh when I give them opportunity to fight me, they win more than I do. I don't know if you understand. Like it's a not just a payday, but it's like they win or lose, they're they're winning more in their sense. So it's kind of like he tried to pull off a Canelo situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I fight you, if I give you opportunity, your star power, I mean your fame get boosted. You know what I mean? Because you're fighting me. I'm the guy of the division. But I don't. But me being a boxer fan, I don't like that because it's like it has. I come from a time where the best fighters fight the best fighters. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
So
my thing is this: with what you're saying is this. John Mimo, there's more to watch now.
yeah,
It used to be that Tank was the explosive guy and guy we wanted to see fight these guys, and it seems like that wave has sailed on. Everybody's moving upwards of 140 and 147 already. So those fights are gone. Now we're entering a new era of boxing where Keyshawn Davis is saying, look at me. Come out to see my fights. I actually fight, and I'm coming out fighting more frequently a year than this guy.
and he became like he had like how many fights? Like 12 fights to become a world champion.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So,
he put
so
him in that list with Oscar De La Hoya and
right.
some other
He has
dude.
the
Right?
potential of having a real legendary career. You know, he has to win the fights that he's given, the opportunities. Let's see if he moves up, multiple weight divisions like Hitman Hearns, fighters like that. Um, and let's see where the young man ends up. This is his first world title. He has to defend the belt now, and let's see how he holds up as a champion before we put him in
Yeah.
Hall of Fame conversations.
And I understand that boxing is always moving. There's always new faces coming to the sport of boxing, new talents, and it's like Tank is telling us that after this year, he's planning retirement. And I, even though it sucks because I do like to see how talented Tank is in his fights and stuff like that. But like we got the Abdullah Masons coming up, we got the Kermel Boltons, we got these young fighters that if you do leave, they're just gonna carry that division.
Excuse me. And we even got like a new star right now, Juanma. You seen that kid?
Yeah, Juanita Lopez. Yep.
Juanita? Juanita? Oh my
Yep.
God, bro. That kid looked impressive in his
You know,
debuts.
he that debut. People gotta understand that not Puerto Rican like you and me. He did he went out in that debut looking like his father
Yeah.
because his father was known of knocking people out in like in early rounds, and he did
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So I did.
I
He
had to go.
surprised me. I didn't know he had power, but
Mhm.
that's great.
And me and Frontline, we laughed about it and shit. And Frontline's like, yeah, look who his dad is. I'm like, yeah, look who Julio Cesar Chavez's son is. Like, come on, that doesn't translate fucking success. He's gonna
Yeah,
have
he
to
got
put
to
in
put
the
in the
work.
yeah, you got to put the work in.
Yeah, you're gonna have to put in your work. And the kid looked good. I mean, you know, the way he set that up and everything, he understands some things. So let's see. I want to see a lot more of the kid. But to your point with Tank Davis is I saw Tank Davis on an interview, right? And Tank Davis claimed that there's no fighter that has better skills than him. He started to say he was
Yeah.
even better than Floyd. Then he said, nah, I'll take that back. Right? So you see, this is what I'm saying when I'm critical on Tank Davis, and some fans seem to think that I dislike him, but they don't stick around to hear my whole take. That's why that's why I know they don't watch my entire videos, right? Because when Tank Davis is up there saying and making these accusations that he's got more skills, that's exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. You can't walk around saying that you're a king without doing king shit.
Yes.
Just because you're saying you're the best skilled, and we do see that as fans, doesn't make it so, Tank. Okay, Tank, how about this? Can I see it? Could you shut everybody else up? Just bust Loma's ass. Bro, say it isn't so. It's going on 8 years, 7 years, and
Man,
you
if he,
still ain't fought
yeah,
that man.
I always said, man, if he would have fought Loma, even though Loma's not the same Loma before, but he could do something that other fighters couldn't do, knock him out. You
Yo,
know that?
you know why I actually think secretly why Tank never fought Loma? Because
Why?
Loma was short and good. Tank
Well,
knows
yeah,
Tank's success
it's with
is
taller fighters.
coming underneath guys, taller
Yeah,
guys, and knocking out bigger guys. Tank's all his fights. Just look at a guy that was actually shorter than him, less skills, happened to be the guy that took him 12 rounds. And Tank broke his hands in the fight because his punching angle was off. And he kept
yeah.
punching him on the top of the head.
He was punching downwards instead of, yeah,
Right.
up.
The reason why I don't think Tank fought Loma is because Loma was here and he was good. Loma's footwork is way better than Tank's. Way better.
It
Tank
was,
probably got better power, but Loma got good selection and punches. And I think Tank realized if anybody he would have had the worst problem with would have been that Loma dude.
but what's your opinion about, because in the same video, Nick says that, oh, Mayweather tried to set me up with that Jose Pedraza fight because I was
No,
coming off uh inactive. I didn't had like he had to sell his jewelry. Like he seems like he was in a bad time of state during that time. He beat Jose Pedraza. Like everybody was against him in that fight.
that was a another Floyd Mayweather promotion shit stirring that the world bought. Typical Floyd Mayweather stirring shit up to give you this perception that he's setting him up bad guy and support me, Tank Davis, because I would like someone to explain this to me real slow. That way I can understand. How am I setting you up when I'm giving you a world title fight?
Ooh man, that's a good punchline. Huh. Oh man, hey, that's a good response. You got a big reward off of that fight. You can't. Yeah, yeah,
Come on, man. It's just
yeah,
Mayweather stirring it up like he always did when he went to the club, threw out the money. Hey, Mayweather's in there, TMZ, drinking, smoking weed. No, he's not. He runs out the back door and starts jogging. Mayweather knew how to stir up stories. He knew how to dress up drama. If you ever notice, Mayweather doesn't ever wear none of that jewelry unless he has a fight scheduled, promoting a fight, or at a fight for Tank Davis. If you see the cameras on Mayweather while he's in his normal, everyday life, he be dressed fly as fuck, maybe a nice watch, real thin ass chain. None of that fucking five chain shit. You ever notice that? When he's with his family, he's got the big bags. He
yeah,
got one ring, nice watch, because he is Mayweather. But not like when he be at them fights. Tank Davis fight, he had 5 Cuban links on.
yeah. But you hit it on the mark when you said that how he's setting you up
When I'm
is
giving you a world title fight.
yes,
And but what I'm saying to you, I'm describing Floyd Mayweather's antics. They've always been there for the world to see. Floyd Mayweather was a genius when it came to promoting. Every single time Tank Davis got a fight, all of a sudden him and Tank Davis start going at it on social media. Tank's putting them in dresses, memes. That's all set up by Floyd. We also sold him out to Rolly. To Rolly? That non-skilled fighter. You guys are trying to convince me that Mayweather promotion was on his last fight and they were putting you out to dry against Rolly with no skills. But that you were saying, what you were selling me was the drama. I always see through Floyd's tactics because he
Yeah.
taught me.
What sells this fight? What sells these fights are really
Right.
the drama.
Floyd taught me this shit firsthand. I grew up watching him. When he himself revealed everything to me, I could never see him. I always was mad at Floyd and his antics. And one day on some interview, I'm talking years ago, he laughed and he like spilled the beans. He said, I used to do this, this, this. And it was true. Floyd Mayweather never smoked a cigarette, never drank liquor. What the fuck's he doing in a club with a bunch of gangsters smoking weed? It didn't make no sense. Sure enough, the bouncer opens the door. Floyd runs in back of the limo, takes out his jogging shoes, and goes jogging. But TMZ snapped 15 minutes of photos of him, and his opponent thinks that Floyd's in the club partying it up. He's not training. Meanwhile, Floyd is training his ass off. Those were all ploys and tactics. He wanted the persona of the bad guy. You're gonna pay to see me lose. But the one thing that Floyd never did was fuck around in training. It's well known fact, documented. He beats the coach there, and he's the last one to leave. He trains at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, wakes up, and starts training. He was a monster. How could you be a monster in the gym, but smoking weed, fucking hookers, excuse my language, and drinking? Your body would have never held up. One of those things had to be a lie. And I and
It's a
yo,
it's an
Floyd
illusion.
was he was real marketable like that. And when he does these little gimmicks with fucking Tank and all these dudes, the only thing that hurt Floyd was
Yes.
I believe Floyd Mayweather really wanted to be a boxing promoter. I really truly believe he wanted to give back to the sport. I just think that life pulled him in a lot of different ways, the money, the women. He was still young when he signed fighters like Tank and Richard, all them fighters. He lost them one by one because Mayweather was out living, reaping the fruits of his labor. He really didn't have a time to be Tank, you're gonna be your next fight. No, he just threw money at the situations. If Tank needed, he just threw money at it. He didn't have enough time to actually tutor him. And the way that he tutored him was after he won his fights, he'd come and party with him, bring him to the whorehouse or whatever. That wasn't the right way for Tank. He ended up losing Tank because he wasn't more connected to him. Floyd was too busy hopping on jets, buying watches, pretending he knew how to read, and doing all this other shit. He just didn't have enough time to slow down for
Yeah, it
them
was like
when they needed him.
they wasn't connected
Nah,
at a
nah,
personal level. You know
nah.
what I mean?
Floyd was
Yeah,
he's still
there's
too young. He got up the game at a good age, had all that fucking money. You worked out from probably since the day you were born. Your father was like this brutal trainer. You finally get away from him. You fall in love with the sport. You realize this is what's going to get you paid. And you called it quits a couple times, but the last time you're for real about it. You probably told yourself, once this is all said and done, I'm going to go see the world. All of a sudden, people are bringing you fighters like Tank Davis, Camille Moten, Jaleel Hatchet, all these kind of fighters. They're bringing you, and then after they're just bringing them all these fighters, and I don't think his life at that time he had what it took to pay attention to these fighters. I think he dropped the ball on a lot of these fighters, and he lost some good ones. Floyd.
yeah, because I can go even deeper with that because Floyd, you know, I I'm just talking in terms of what it
Yeah,
looks from the outside, what these fighters had said out of their mouth. It seemed like Floyd has lost relationships with these talented fighters. Like now we see like the Tanks, the Hades, you know what I mean? And you got, not much to core because. But Shakur, you know, his big brother
Right,
is Terrence
right,
Crawford. We know that. Andre Ward. That's who he
right,
identifies with more. You know. Um, I remember when Ryan defeated Haney. It was like the four
right.
pounds or something like that, and that got Bill Haney, pissed off with Floyd. You know what I mean? So it's just you know, it's like what you said is like he couldn't never his fighters never stood with him. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. You know, you know, you know, you know. Floyd, he had a lot of good intentions for the sport. He also brought that persona, undefeated fighter. For me, it kind of hurt the sport. I think fighters took that the wrong way. And then this notion where belts don't matter because you have to understand that Floyd Mayweather did some of these things when his name was already established and he was already selling out arenas. And he was able to do these fights with no belts and no boxing promoter because Floyd was very skillful and they couldn't beat him. So, um, when a lot of these young kids like the Devin Haney's and the Tank Davises, and they try to show that they don't need boxing promoters, but the truth is right in front of your face. It's just like Berlanga. His last fight is coming up, and they're saying, "Oh, he could probably promote himself." And Berlanga,
Yeah,
yeah,
he'd be a
type
free
shit. And I'm
agent.
saying
Yep.
to these guys, you guys do realize that the boxing promoters put up all the money by sponsorships and they pay for your hotel, your plane tickets, all your coaches. And if you don't have a boxing promoter to put up the money for the other guy, meaning if the budget in the fight is $3 million, out of that $3 million, you got to pay this guy. So let's say you pay him 700,000, 800,000, or whatever, and you now you got to pay for him to get to the fight and his hotels and everything. You got to pay that all up front. What you're doing is taking a gamble that you'll make your money back. So you got to put up all this money. So, and then on top of orders coming in, how many people will come in, how much for the event, I got to turn on the lights in this building, right? I got to pay that up front. Sometimes fighters want their money up front guaranteed. So if it's a guaranteed fight and his money's 7,000 or $700,000, that means I got to give him $700,000 before he even makes it to the arena. So when these fighters are
Yeah.
talking about, oh, I could do this, really? Well, why did top rank Bob Arum almost buy the Devin Haney fight against Hubert Matias for like what, 2 point something million? So Devin Haney didn't have 2 point something $1 million because that's all you needed to take over the fight.
For the Devin Haney
For
or
the
for the
Devin Haney
Teofimo
fight. Remember, he pulled out of it.
Against
No, that's
Ugriel?
why he's the champion in recess.
No, because he's the champion of recess because he didn't decide to fight with
Right, that's
Sander
the
Martin.
exact situation I'm talking about. Bob
Yeah.
Arum,
You said
I
Subriel.
did.
That's why I got confused. Yeah, you said
Oh no,
Subriel
no, I'm
Matias.
sorry. Devin Haney.
Yeah.
Bob Arum went to buy Devin Haney's fight, right, for 2 point something million. So
Yes.
what you mean to tell me Devin Haney didn't have that money to buy his own fight in a purse bid? Meaning Devin Haney had the right through DHP promotion to bid on his own fight.
And now that that champion of recess goes over to
Yeah, and
Alberto
then you never heard
Puello,
of him
and then
again.
Sander Martin
Right.
is gonna
But
fight with
okay,
him.
I said all of that to say this, that Mayweather did that to this sport. Mayweather's the one that uh said, "Oh, branch off. You don't need these boxing promoters. They're not treating you right." But he doesn't describe what it took for him to get there. It's not like Mayweather came in day one, Mayweather promotion. He fought a shitload of fights with top rank, bought out of his contract, but by then the world had seen what he did to Arturo Gatti. The world had seen what he did to Diego Corrales. Roy Jones, and he
Yes.
had already established himself. When he broke away, he gambled on himself, and guess what? He won. But Mayweather had
Yes.
already came up. He was already a multiple division world champion. And when these guys are branching off with no belts and all of social media, just all they got, where are they coming up with all this money? TV networks, some promoters. And then on top of all this, let's just add reality into the equation. Remember, if you're taking on the responsibility of being a boxing promoter, you got to answer every phone call. You got to look over all documents and you got to train and stay focused. You got to make sure all plane tickets are bought because remember, this is all left on you. Nobody a fantasy person is going to come and put your fight together. Oh, and by the way, pick your outfit. Make sure it's there on time. Make sure all the hotel rooms are good and get back to the gym and train. And all the money that they're telling you back and forth, swindling and the headaches at night, you got to avoid all of that and train and stay focused. That's what you got to put boxing promoter team for.
Y- Yeah, this is a lot of what most people don't know what
Right.
happens in the background of boxing,
This is what you got a boxing promoter for. They take care of all that shit for you so that you can focus on training. And Mayweather didn't take it. He had Al Heyman and Leonard Ellaby. He had those people. Those are the subtle things you see he doesn't mention.
Yeah. He had a good team.
You see?
He had a good
Right.
team with him. Yep.
And these kids
But
think they can do it.
I want, yeah. Not everyone can do
No,
what
no, no,
Mayweather
no,
did.
no. He was a special athlete. That's why he's among the elite. Because to
Now, how the boxing is back
and to
then,
have that it
like the
factor,
glamour sport was,
you have to have all the
yeah,
traits. His speed, his cat-like reflexes, the it factor, the mouth, the personality, the dedication in the gym, the will not to lose. You gotta have all that.
you know, real quick. I remember back in those days, even though I was young, but I was a kid, it doesn't matter. The glamour weight division was that welterweight division, that 147. And that was all the eyes was focused on that weight division. And you know, but the difference from back then and now is that boxing has grown and now most people can be like, for example, the 135 division is delayed, no one wants to fight no one, but let me go to the 140s. Let me go to the 154s. Let me go to the 122, the 126. Man, that's some action down there. So now people don't gotta uh just be stuck into one division. You got
Yeah,
variety now,
yeah, yeah.
better
No,
than
that's right.
back then,
That's
in
why
my
I've
opinion.
been advocating a lot for the era that we're in right now. We're in a rich era of boxing. I think that boxing is in great hands. I like
Yes.
a lot of the upcoming fights. I like the business moves. It was sad to see people like Showtime leave in the parting year and stuff, and because I shared a lot of memories with them, and I saw HBO. But the sport evolves, and we need to evolve with it. I remember I would hear my uncles and they would say football wasn't the same when we were playing. You guys are a bunch of girls, right? And I didn't want to be him. I saw that my uncles didn't evolve with the game. He was like, man, they needed to get the clothesline in here and clothesline Tom Brady. I'm like, the fact that they made that rule to protect the quarterback gave us 20 years with him, longevity. I would have
Yes.
rather had seen 20 years than 4 short careers of him getting his neck snapped back
You saw
because he
that.
was so good, they wouldn't want to take him out. So my uncles didn't know how to evolve with the sport and see the benefit in the longevity of the athlete. You'll get to see him a lot longer.
It's kind of
See him.
similar to what I want to say. It's like recently people was talking about 15 rounds for an undisputed fight. I'm like, man,
No,
you really want to kill these fighters, man.
you want to
Man,
kill these fighters again? Yeah,
right.
nah.
But good thing the WBC and the WBO has talked against that. So but it's kind of similar to what you're saying. Like back in my day, we had 15 rounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Look at the damage it has done to these
yeah.
fighters. We
Your
want these fighters
careers
to
are
be
6
good.
years long.
Yeah, people still die. In this sport.
Yeah.
I want to ask
Very
you about this WBO situation at 140 because I can't like scratch my head on it because it's like right now Barbosa is the interim champion of that WBO belt of Teal's belt. So will Barbosa fight Teal in that Alcatraz fight card in the summer, or Teal's just gonna fight with hitches, or he has to get stripped?
okay. Okay. Rules in boxing when it comes among champions, all right? You can't strip Teofimo Lopez for not fighting Richard Hitchison. There's not a rule in boxing that says champions must fight each other. That's amongst champions, and if you make me an offer, I can't refuse. You got something I want, or we both have the same vision in line that we want to unify. It makes things easier. Okay. So you can't strip Teal just because he doesn't fight Richard Hitchison.
No,
That's not a
more
rule.
so with Barbosa.
Okay. Now, Barboza put himself in a crazy situation. Okay. Because although you might think that interim belt is good, it's garbage and it's bad for his situation. It's really bad for his situation. It takes away the mandatory and the paperwork to be the mandatory. What happens is you become the interim champion, you get removed out of the ranking system. The number one guy now has the mandatory paperwork to fill in. Now the organization wants you to make title defenses on that interim belt when the rule should state that the guy that wins the interim's next fight should be against the champion. But
Yeah,
unfortunately, we don't live in that era. Just ask Tank Davis. How many times did he defend that interim regular belt at 135?
yeah.
How many fights did he fight with that belt? Because the entire time he had that belt, Devin Haney had all 4 belts. How many times did David the Monster Benavidez defend that interim belt? He just defended it against Morrell, right? David Morrell. Now he has 2 interim belts.
Yeah, yeah, still unified.
Ask him if he'll rub them together and they'll make 1 belt.
So you're telling me it's not worth to fight for these intro belts?
Okay, if you were not the number one contender, let's say you were like the 10, the 9, the 8,
Okay.
and the interim guy wants to fight me. I go in, I smoke him, I win the interim belt. I play around with my interim for a second. I wanna move myself in position. If I see that there's no way to that real belt, vacate that motherfucker. Vacate it, get back in the ranking. You keep your ranking slot, move into the number one, become the number one mandatory, put in the paperwork to Teofimo Lopez's belt. But by being the interim, you get off the ranking. Now it's a matter of whether Teal would take the fight.
So it's like a waiting game with
Right,
that intro belt.
because now the organization is like basically axing to Teal to fight him. Because if the organization, the interim WBO and the interim champion fight, they're gonna lose 1 payday that night and 1 star. They got a Mexican star and then they got Teal, right? This
Okay.
way, If they both fight, one of them's going to be the champion. The interim's going to do away. Now they need somebody to rise up, win it, and pay us again sanctioning fees when we already got this guy paying us. So rather than putting our two guys to fight each other, why don't we put them to fight on the same card, separate people? More money, more money. They just got paid for a fight in the same weight division for two different belts rather than one. So that interim belt that he won, it's actually a fucking prison. It's handcuffs. It's a
Oh
good
man.
achievement. Win it, vacate it. Vacate it.
How I'm looking from the outside, I think Teal's gonna maybe fight with Hitchens, and maybe if he beats Hitchens, he's gonna move up to 147 because he's in that tournament with Turkey Ali Sheikh with all Ryan and Haiti and Busanis is all in that tournament card, whatever. So why fight Barbosa if you already want to move up to the 147 division?
Well, it will never hurt to achieve more in a division now, does it? And
Yeah,
winning another bout to unify, it just adds to your resume and your legacy.
of course.
So
Yep.
you're not just fighting any other regular fight moving up to acclimate to a division. You're actually fighting a world champion. It's going to go down in your resume as a world champion fight, and you having the opportunity to be unified in that division. So far, Tio has been unified. He would be unified in two separate weight divisions if he was to be successful against Richard Hitchison. See,
With the
so
Ring
that
Magazine belt. Yep.
well, that ring don't count yet,
I mean, you don't
but
count, but he will be, he unified at 35 with that Ring magazine. And if he beats Hitchens, he will do that again somewhat. You know what I mean?
my biggest argument with that ringside magazine belt, if that ringside magazine belt actually was real, why don't they say it's a 5 belt era? Why is it a 4 belt era?
I always looked at the Ring magazine belt as a like a prestige. Like it's like,
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a trophy, very prestigious. But when Tio's trying to walk around and act like he's putting up the ring, like, come on, bro.
yeah,
It's a,
yeah, yeah.
it's a prestigious award. I would be honored to have it. It's been around in boxing. It's a fucking staple in boxing. Let's keep it real. That's a very prestigious award, that Ringside Magazine. Some of the people that have it, are distasteful people to me, and I think it was a popularity contest in some cases, right? So but to act like that's a real belt, that you're gonna take that with one belt and say now I'm a unified world champion, probably it don't work that way. Unless you have one or two of the major sanctioning bodies, now. But when you only got one belt and you were awarded the Ringside Magazine, and you go on and go, hey, is this mic working? Yeah, I'm a unified world champion. No, you're not.
I just thought about something, Raul. I
Yep.
think the Arnold Barbosa situation is gonna be the same situation with Hitchens and Subrel as Subrel beats Gabriel Venezuela.
Okay. I see where you're
Be-
going.
You know what I mean? Because if Hitchens, I mean, if Subrel beats Gabriel Venezuela, he becomes mandatory for that Hitchens IBF belt. Am I correct?
Where you're going with this is who gets there first.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And it's a race for the belt right now. And who would be better off being the champion to give Subriel a shot? It's probably the way, would it be so terrible if Richard Hitchison won? Would he fight Subriel when he obviously ducked him when he was his number one? And then the other flip side to the coin would have been Tio on with their fight when Tio walked away from his biggest payday. So none of those guys are convincing me. So the way you're saying it would probably be one of the best ways, because it would be, a more would that way would be a better, would Subir get his shot quicker that way with the scenario that played out between Richard Hitchison and Teal.
Because what has history has shown me so far that neither Teofimo or Hitchens wants to fight with Subriel.
You don't want to fight him. So this guy's got
Right.
to beat him to the shot, is what you're saying. Yeah. Well,
It is like there's Hitchens is Teofimo talking like they about to fight each other, so they're gonna not give the Barbosas, the Subriels the opportunity, so they're probably just gonna fight each other. That's how I'm seeing it.
okay. So we got to add all scenarios and all situations into what we're breaking down then. So according to what you're saying is, if Subriel takes the fight with Richard Hitchison, then he has to and brings Top Rank back that belt. He gets a 5-year extension, 5 fights, not 5 years, 5 fights,
Yeah,
right?
Teofimo.
Teofimo, right? So now he's going to be signed with Top Rank. He'll have that. So on a 5-fight deal with Top Rank, which he's going to be signed with him. Looking forward, does Top Rank put that fight together with Subriel again?
It's
And
just
do
it's
you
just
think that Matchroom fucked up by not doing business with Subriel now? Because Subriel's next fight is being promoted by Fresh Promotion,
yeah, he's always been with Fresh.
right? And co-promoted too with that other dude. And like I'm saying right now,
I
like
think
go ahead.
boxing is gonna get real interesting right now with Top Rank leaving ESPN, and if they signs with the Zone, I feel like these fights are gonna be made more easier with the Mushrooms, with the Golden Boys, because Barbosa's Golden Boy,
Yeah.
Hitches is Matchroom with Eddie Hearn, and
Yeah, but right now, Barboza, although he put on a good performance, right? I mean, amongst boxers, amongst him, it wasn't the greatest fight in the world with
no, it
Canelo.
wasn't. It
Okay, it
wasn't.
wasn't the greatest. Okay, so when I'm looking for dollars that make sense and sensible fight, he's not in the conversation yet. When I still got some fire, some unfinished business, so to speak, in the division. That is Super Matias looking for his belt. Fighters like Liam Paro also wanting redemption, new champions. And I don't think there's it's just too much more to pick from to slide Arnold Barboza in worthy right now with this kind of performance. I would rather see one of these champions fight Subir Matias, a more formidable opponent. You know, um,
Hmm.
there's also who is
I
it
got
there? Huh? Go ahead.
no, sorry. It's just I got to think about the rankings because I just don't see Teofimo at 140 anytime longer, man. What he's saying, he's like he wants to move up to 147 and
You
do
you know
history in
he's
there.
gonna follow the money. He's gonna
Yeah,
follow Ryan. He's gonna follow all of them.
yeah, the
He's
Haney's, the Ryan, they're going up to
they're
147.
all
So,
going.
so what it's showing me that he's not gonna. He already said he's not gonna fight with Subed and Barbosa. Definitely, probably not gonna fight him. So what probably is gonna happen at 140 is that Barbosa and Subed may have to clash each other. You never know if they vacate those belts. If Tio, let's say Tio beats Hitchens and he vacates those belts and then he moves up to 147. If you can bring up the rankings. I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, I got the rankings. I can bring them up. Um, here, check this out. Matter of fact, uh, let me. No, that's that. Okay, hold on. Uh, replace. Okay, boom. Why don't we go up here? Do that. I'm gonna throw this up here. Bam. Okay, and here we go. Here's some ranking.
Yeah,
Here's here we go. This is 140. There's Teofimo Lopez and there's Barboza right there. Intrum. What did I tell you? Where's the number one ranked contender for the WBO? Where's he at now with all the power and the paperwork? There's nobody there.
Yep.
That's the situation I'm talking about. Now Tio would have to voluntarily take this fight against this interim dude. And he put himself in a worse situation. Had he been a number one, he could put in a mandatory and put pressure on Tio. These are situations in boxings where you can't be blinded when they offer you an interim title or just don't accept it. You see? And now look, you know, does it say up here that Devin Haney is the champion in recess? No. He's got
No.
awarded full status now. And Sandor Martin is the number one contender. And Dalton Smith is number two. Lisa,
And
yeah, go ahead.
he, no, sorry to cut you off. Is that
Yeah,
right now 147 is looking more appealing to the Haney, to the Ryan, and to the Teal because I
100%.
believe that the WBC has placed Haney as number one man, no number one or number one ranked in the
It's right here,
WBC,
right in front of you.
and he hasn't fought at 147. And
147,
and
147. What does that say? WBC. Who is the number one in the WBC of 147? What's that name say right there? Devin
Mario
Haney,
Bar, yeah, oh sorry, Mario Bar is the champion, but yeah, Devin
champion.
Haney.
But Devin Haney's the number one. What you were saying. He's never fought at 147, but his star status, boxing is a business disguised as a sport.
And you know
What
what's
else?
going on with the with WBA, given that fight of Ryan and Rolly a regular WBA belt.
Right. But that random WBA belt means what? Nothing, because you can see right here clearly who the WBA real champion is.
Yeah, but that champion Stanionis is gonna fight with Bus Ennis for a unification fight.
Okay, Stanionis and Jerron Buchanan are going to fight. It doesn't matter if they fight. Just to sell it the night, they're going to make the Ryan Garcia fight for a Rolly fight for an interim world championship. He's just going to go under a slot where my man here just finds himself.
Yeah.
And whoever wins out of Duran Boots Ennis and Staniones is going to be the real WBA and IBF 147-pound champion of the world.
And most likely the Ring Magazine um belt holder too, because they will make them as the number one fighter of that
Matter
division.
of fact, you mentioned the Ringside Magazine, belt a lot. So hold on a second. Hold on. I'm going to show you a website that values that Ringside Magazine, and in fact they're the ones that are always promoting the ring. So okay, hold on.
Yeah. Let me read this comment real quick.
Go
Good
ahead, brother.
salute.
Go ahead. Yeah, catch up to the
Uh
information.
Salute Cobra Kai, the only channel that has more knowledge of boxing. Cheers, mate. I appreciate that comment.
Thank you. So here, here your acknowledgement for your Ringside Magazine champion, whoever has it. It says it right here on the corner.
Yep.
It says ring right there, gives him acknowledge, and it also tells you the belts that he also has. Hold on, let me see if I can get this. It's not allowing me to block the ad so far, so fast. But anyway, we can go down. He is the ringside for the cruiser. He's the ringside Arthur's the ring for the 175. Saul's the ring for the 168.
For
There's
160 is
no,
fake.
no ringside magazine at 160.
Should be Janabek, but who knows?
Yeah, there's no now super welterweight 154. There's no ringside magazine at
Nope.
154. There's no wrong ringside magazine at 147. It's vacant.
And then
Teofimo
140.
Lopez is the ringside magazine for 140, which he lets the world know. 135 don't have a ringside magazine. Javante Tank Davis's weight division
And they
doesn't.
was they was gonna give that Ring Magazine belt to if Tank was gonna fight with Lomachenko. If that fight would have happened,
Well,
whoever would
yeah,
have won that fight would have got that Ring Magazine belt.
at 130, there's no ringside magazine. At 126, I don't think there's a ringside magazine, but at 122, Naoya Inoue is 100% the ringside magazine because you can
Yep.
see they've been wrapping that thing around his chest. There he is, ringside magazine. Yep.
And
So
he's
those
and he's coming
are,
from Las he's coming to America to Las Vegas. So it's gonna be
oh man,
interesting.
brother. Yeah. Look at
Bam Bam Rodriguez. Huh.
he's the ringside magazine champion at 115.
Being so young.
Yeah.
Fake it. Fake
Vacant.
it.
And last one is
Last
vacant.
one. No, 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 no. Last one's not vacant. 105. Ooh!
Oh,
El Bori
who's that right
representando.
there? Who's that right there?
Man, it's so disrespectful. They don't got him at least number 10 pound for pound, man. But it's
Well, it's just because of the glamour thing, puppy.
yeah.
And that's what it really is about. These guys, they're not pushing the needle when it comes to ticket sales and big events, well known in probably their part of the world and for hardcore fans, but real little guys, you know what I mean? So it's hard to,
Yeah.
but you know, uh,
But we
we
live
can't deny his skill. We can't deny
yep.
his skill and his
And we
accomplishment.
live in a world that information is open for everyone and it's no longer hidden like back then. Now everybody can know who
Right,
is the number one guy in each division. And the number one guy for 105, the minimus division,
right.
is Oscar Collazo.
Oh, Oscar Collazos is definitely coming in hot. He's got 11 fights now. Seems like yesterday he only had like 3 or 4 fights.
Yeah.
He's definitely making some noise. He's not scared to unify, and that speaks volumes when you can unify in your own weight division. That also speaks to
And
the rest of the men that we talk about, like the Teofimo Lopez and Tank Davises and Shakurs of the world. That they're so great, and they're like this. They're not unified.
Tank has
Tank,
never unified
no, no. But I know who has Oscar Collazo.
in less fights.
That's right. You know
But
what I mean?
I know people how people think nowadays they're just gonna disrespect that weight class. But it is what it is. I'm not gonna prove
No,
to
but
any
that's why always I'm a big advocate for this. I cannot judge Tank Davis with Oscar Collazo because they're not in the same weight division. You
yeah.
got to be held accountable for your own weight division and what you do in it. And at the end of the day, if this is what you're doing in your own weight division that you're responsible in, then unfortunately, there other men are doing it better
And I
because
want to
they're
talk
doing
more
it in
about
their weight division.
and I want to talk about that Puerto Rican boxing uh is growing. Man, this year is gonna be great for Puerto Rican
Oh
boxing
man, talk
because
about it, right?
we got coming up Yanker Rivera is on the doorstep for a world title fight. Man, I can't wait
That dude's gonna be a champion, bro.
for the WBA. I think it's gonna
He's
be
gonna.
for the WBA.
Well, that's the way I would go first. You know, although the WBA is not the greatest organization right now, they don't got the best name, but you have to start somewhere.
Man, a world title is a world title, whether
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
IBF, WBA,
I don't
WBC,
care
or
which one it
WBO.
is. I don't care which one it is. I'm going that way. You want to criticize it, whatever. Pero
World champion.
let them learn how to be a champion first. Let them get that excitement out the way.
What? Yeah, what
Then
weight class he is again? He is one 108? No, not 108.
it's 112, I think.
112. Yeah, he's 112. Yeah, verdad, 112.
Now, I say a lot of these Japanese dudes are lightning in a bottle. There's a lot of Japanese strong fighters down there. You know that they run that weight division. Them and them
Yeah, yeah.
Filipino dudes. You
They're
know, the
tough.
Filipino, the Chinese, they live. That's their area. You know, we
Asian
grew up.
boxers, that's what they dominate in the lower weight class. We gotta
No, and then
recognize that.
they just keep
Yeah.
taking each other out. They just keep taking each other out. There's so many of them. So it's hard to come up and be that kind of dominant. And that's why I talk about Naoya a lot, man. I know I talked about him enough, but sometimes some of these conversations goes back to his greatness. He fought his way out of those Asian countries and Japan and fought the top guys to be the top of Japan. Like he won those kind of belts like the Pacific National Japanese Championship. Like he
It,
beat the Japanese champion.
you know something?
That,
It is time, and I'm glad that we're having them over here in the States in America. It is time for the people from here to get to see them live.
yeah, no, 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 no.
Because one thing is, oh, I gotta wake up early to watch this guy fight. This and no. When you get to see him here in your time zone, then you understand why this dude's the real deal. You know what I mean?
And not only that, because there's different aspects to fighting that we're aware of, but this is when they come into play. Styles make fights, okay? And in one of this situation right here with Naoya Inoue, one of the best styles that you can present him and showcase to America is when you put him against Alan David Picasso. Alan
A
David
Mexican.
Picasso is an undefeated fighter where that he's gonna come in and he doesn't know what it's like to, you know, and
He,
he's good. He can actually box.
but he hasn't learned how to lose, so he's coming
He's
to
a
bring it.
formidable opponent. He's a
Yep.
formidable opponent, right? So he can box. He doesn't know how to lose. He's gonna give you everything.
He's
What
young.
that translates, styles make fights for Naoya Inoue. He's more dangerous when he fights a fighter that is a boxer rather than a loose cannon or an orthodox fighter where like Luis Pantera Nari, you couldn't really time his rhythm. He's more spontaneous. Um, Marlon Tapales was more like a brawler type fighter. But when you put him in against fighters like Nonito Donaire, Emmanuel Rodriguez, Jason Maloney, a McDonald, Stephen Kubo Fulton, you put him against boxers, that's how he knocks
Butler.
those guys out.
Yep.
So you put him in against a guy that's gonna bring it. He doesn't know how to lose. He's a good fighter. It's a good recipe for Naoya Inoue to get one of those kind of knockouts that really bring you out of your seat.
You
To
think
showcase him in Las Vegas, that's the fight I want to showcase. Rather than Marlon Tapales being another of those kind of fighters. You know what I'm saying? I want a
you th-
guy that stands straight up with him.
you think that this will be Inoue's last fight at 122 pounds?
That I can't predict. That is something that I came to the realization that that's a choice Naoya Inoue is going to have to make.
Okay.
Um, I don't, I can't definitively say that. I don't want to mislead anybody and say, oh no, we heard it from Round One Sports, like he said it. No, no, no. I'm on the side of you. There's no one left at 122. I'm with you
Yes.
guys when I want him to go to 126, 100%. Do I want him to challenge these new challenges, such as Nick Ball, the problem that he presents, the challenge that's it's Espinoza, the rematch that's
Angelo
Stephen
Leo.
Fulton, and Angelo Leo with that impressive knockout. Okay, so
Yeah.
it opens a world of possibilities and also contenders at 126 with other names. Okay, so the it's just way better than any fight. And I don't care who's saying what about Naoya Inoue. I'll take any one of the champions at 126 rather than MJ.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. Um, I just like I don't know. I just like really legendary fights. I just like you know what I mean. It ain't like impossible. It ain't like Crawford moving up three weight divisions to fight Canelo. That we already seen this
Right.
happen before. You know what I mean? This is one division, but an exciting division. And you know, I root. I got in a way, even though it's gonna be a tough fight for because Styles makes fight, but I just like to see greatness. You know what I mean? I just like
Okay. Okay.
it's like
Here's the
Mortal
scenario
Kombat. You
for
just
you.
go up the levels.
Right. Here's the scenario for you, Carlos. Right. What's the difference between him fighting the guys at 122 rather than fighting the guys at 126? Here's the difference for you. Right. The difference is we don't think anybody can beat him at 122. There's your difference. He goes up to 126. We're getting a little concerned. We still got him in the fight. We still got Naoya. I got him all day. I'm not betting against him, right? But doesn't it feel like more of a challenge already? In your mind with those names, it seems like now we got ourselves a fight. The difference between him staying at 122 is there is no one, I think, I would have to hype myself up for it. Because I think he already beat the best guys at 122, had to offer. He did that walking into the division. So there's really no one left but a phony, dressed up MJ that with a fake ass ranking he never deserved. And I
Yeah,
and I and I revealed him. So that's the difference between 126.
and people are
Yeah,
not
go ahead.
seeing this aspect too. Yeah, he's fighting Picasso, um, and most people are upset that he's still fighting at 122. I can understand because I'm like, man, I want him to go 126, but
Right.
he's still doing history. What is the
No,
history
no.
that he's doing? He's doing history because he has gonna defend that undisputed belt 4 times, and he
Listen,
will be tied up. He will tie his defending his belt 4 times with Canelo Alvarez.
he would be tied. Oh
Yep.
my God, what a remarkable class of names to be in, next to.
Because listen, Yusuke never defended his undisputed because when
No,
he
no,
fought
no, no.
with
Neither did Terrence Crawford.
neither
None
did
of
Terrence Crawford because you know what I mean. One thing is to win it, but you got to defend it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Terrence Crawford was more on the line. We talked about this where the Terrence Crawford was like, "Listen, I'm not gonna take years of my hard work, chase these men down, get all four belts, and then give you an opportunity to win them all in one night. What it took me a lifetime to do. Not every man is eager to sign up for that. So when their men do that, that's really saying to the entire world, it doesn't matter because I'm the only champion, real champion up here. Whether I got four, three, or one, what I'm saying is none of you guys were going to beat me regardless. Now that speaks more powerful because the risk. Look, you can't tell me that Alan Picasso didn't hit the fucking lottery.
Yeah.
You didn't get a
What
phone call. You didn't get a phone call for one belt.
for the
You got a
price of
phone
one?
call for four.
Yep.
The likelihood, not the likelihood. If you beat Naoya Inoue, you go down in history as the man that defeated the monster. You won four belts. Can you say rematch? You definitely stamped your name into the Hall of Fame in one fight. Your next two fights are going to be for you. You ever would have fought for eight belts, 4-4,
Let me read
right?
this comment. Let me read this comment real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Someone says Inoue versus Nakatani is what the Saudi prince want in Saudi. That's a good
Yeah,
fight too. Oh man, if he moves
right,
up
right,
to
right, right,
122,
right. So, let me answer that right there, real quick, right? Too. We've already been down this road.
yeah,
We've already been down this road. Different name, more money. The Saudi prince has already been trying to chase down Naoya Inoue for quite some many years. He finally got him to be an ambassador and put that T-shirt around him. But make no mistake, I'm gonna work you guys' memory. Right after that Stephen Kubo Fulton fight, the Saudi prince had rumored to have offered him $69 million to fight in Riyadh season for a catchweight fight. Naoya Inoue turned it down. First of all, he doesn't fight in catchweight fights. And he doesn't fight if there's nothing on the line. He's not going to break his prestigious 25 consecutive world title fights real record. When you in your career, that's going to be a record someone's going to have to really break. You don't just break lifetime achievement records, what took you since you were 21 years old to complete. You're 31 right now. All your fights since then have been for world title. You think he's moved by money? Turki Al-Ashi has tried to buy that Japanese dude several times. And history has shown me he will not bend the knee if it isn't worth something.
Yes.
He ain't fighting in a catch fight. He ain't fighting for no regular belt. You're going to have to do some real shit with him, is what he's saying.
My opinion about that Nakatani and Inoue, me personally, I would rather see Bam Bam Rodriguez versus Nakatani. I feel like that fight could be
He's too
done.
big for him.
You
Nakatani's
think
too big for Bam.
you think he's too big? But they're like a one division apart. I mean,
Yeah, but okay. To describe it, when you saw Junto Nakatoni in the ring with Jason Maloney's brother, the other one.
but you can't. Man, Maloney ain't no Bam Rodriguez, man.
Oh no! Don't do that. Don't no, Carlos. I didn't say skill wise.
He destroyed him.
Okay, no. You're taking it wrong. You're taking it wrong.
Go
Hold
ahead,
on.
go ahead. Maloney.
I'm saying height wise that Junto's gonna be Junto, and the same exact height that Maloney is. That's what Bam Rodriguez is. He was that much bigger than him, like that. So that's the measuring stick. Now, skill wise, you're fucking right. That motherfucker ain't no Bam Rodriguez, right? Bam
Yeah.
is the shit, right? Skill wise, I'm like, but I just think that Junto would have been a little big for him because he can fight.
The reason
What?
the reason why I say I rather watch Bam Rodriguez versus Nakatani is that I think Bam already says that he wants to unify 115, and then I think he's moving up to 118, and I feel like, man, that's right there. That's right there.
Mira. The more I think about that fight, actually, Bam got all the tools to beat Junto, to tell you the truth.
He got good movement, good footwork.
Everything. His angles are sharp, man.
Yep.
And Junto, don't get me wrong, he's good. I mean, he's a good puncher, but
Who has he fought? Who has he fought like in the level of Estrada?
No one. Well, he fought that. Wait, whoa. Wait.
Look it up. Look it up.
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you right now. Hold on. I like this other ranking thing system because I can read it better. So let me get there first. Okay. So Juno's he's at 118, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get down to the 118 ranking. Hold on. Okay. These these names be rocking me, bro. One from Juan Francisco Estrada, and then there's the guy I'm talking about, Naoya Inoue's kid brother, but I think Junto beats him, to tell you the truth. What's his name there? It's that super boy there. What's his name there? You yo it's YOI. No, it's not. It's YOSHIKE. I want to see
Tanaka.
Junto fight that kid.
I have to look in a picture because I
You
don't
gotta
know.
watch him. You gotta watch him. And I'm telling you, all these Japanese dudes can fight, man. They can fight. But that kid right there, I want to see him fight him. I thought that Naoya Inoue's kid brother was gonna put up a good fight against Junto. While as far as skill wise, I just didn't think he had enough punch to
So
keep
this is
Junto honest.
the thing about Junto is that Junto, out of the rest of the Japanese fighters, he fights tall and he punches
You know,
hard.
but that's what I keep telling you. He's big.
And he
He's
like,
big,
yeah, he
bro.
big for the
He's
division.
big for the division. He cuts a lot of weight. When he was gonna get in, that's why I try to use like a measuring stick, like to describe to you how what it would look like if Band was in front of him. And
How
I'd
big
say
is
it
Bam? Like
would look
five
like
four?
huh?
How tall is Bam? Like 5'4"?
Bam Rodriguez. I think they got him listed as 5'5". Bam Rodriguez. See on this chart they don't say there. I would have to like type his shit in. That's what I would have to do and
Yeah, I
fucking
think Junto like 5'8".
Junto's 5'9", I think. Uh yeah, this thing sucks. These people see this website is theirs is that's why I like clicking onto this one. Let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can get it. I think this leads me right into where am I? Oh, 108. Let me keep moving up. La, 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 la. Okay, Bam Rodriguez. Let me see. View fighters info. Okay, I clicked onto it. Where did it take me? Bam Rodriguez is 5'4". He's
Yeah,
25 years old. He has a 66-inch arm reach, and he's a southpaw. So he's 5'4", which really
five
he's
four.
like 5'3", because you always add that extra inch on your side.
And how tall is Junto?
And Junto is okay. This fucking thing. It brought me all the way back up to the heavyweights. Once you click out, I gotta scroll down. Hold on. Give me a second. I'll be right there. And 140, 35. What's this? 126. Oh, yeah, anyway, and we should be in Junto's 118 right here. And Junto is, let me read his information. Um, um, Rodriguez is 118 still, man. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's see here. Huh? They got Junto 5'7".
I think he's 5'8".
They got him 5'7". He's a southpaw, 27 years old.
What's his reach?
His reach is 66,
66.
66.9.
It's kind of similar to Bam's, right? Is Bam 66 too?
Yeah. So, um, so you're looking at 5'7", maybe roughly 5'7", 5'8". When he stands up tall, 5'4". He's gonna be like that much to him to Bam. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. But I think you see they're in that weird place where that sometimes speed and power can dictate a fight.
That's
Do
weird.
not. I don't want to hear any comments about any freaking steroids here when I say this, okay? But I to this day, I will say it to this day. When Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney fought, I'm still saying this to this day. I still think Devin Haney's the more skilled fighter. But that was a case where a little bit of speed and power took over the fight. I'm afraid that Bam Bam, I really believe Bam got better skills than Junto. I think he moves better. I think he learned. He's a slight step with skills ahead of Junto.
So
I think Junto, huh?
you telling me that Junto is gonna be way much heavier than Bam in the day of the fight?
Yeah, a lot more.
He's gonna
When he
rehydrate more.
rehydrates, when Junto rehydrates, he's gonna have a lot of weight on Bam. Bam's gonna be trying to make weight moving up. He'll put on a couple pounds, but maybe 6 pounds. Where that Junto's gonna put anywhere between 16 pounds. And he's just gonna be that much bigger within him. And then I think that Bam Bam's all Bam Bam's skill. I think he's going to be hitting the target. He's going to get to Junto. He's just not going to be able to hurt him. And then I
Because
don't know how Bam takes his punches at that point.
because the reason why we're talking about this is because every fighter has their limit, and when moving
Yeah,
up to divisions,
right.
um, we're saying Bam and Junto, but we don't know what is Junto's limit. His limit is way above Bam's. I
Oh
think
yeah,
Junto could definitely do 122 and possibly a
126,
126. Yep.
130.
Same. Yeah. Who knows? I don't know. I think he's in that. I
Okay,
think like in the
Javante
way can.
Davis, Javante Davis, and Esau Pitbull Cruz was the champion at 140, well, at 5'3", and Javante Davis is 5'5". He's 5'7".
Yeah, but it's all about frame, how you
Yeah,
fill
yeah, yeah.
in.
Carrying
Yeah.
the weight. Yeah, we talked about this. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like
but
it's like it's like Espinosa 6'1". Dude, you better be a welterweight where you finish.
I know, right? But
Right.
you see what I'm saying though, that Junto is big for the division. And
Yes,
you
he
you
is.
see what I'm saying? Um, um, I don't know if Bam Bam has exceeded his ceiling. And when we talk about all these situations, that's why fighters like Terrence Crawford, Naoya Inoue, and Usyk that travel throughout weight divisions that proved, yeah, listen, wait, I was like, wait a minute, what do you mean Naoya Inoue is gonna move up to fight this guy that got 43 professional fights. He's been a champion and he Naoya Inoue had 6 fights. You put him against a guy that had 43 fights with one loss. Who did he lose to? Nonito Donaire. Did he get knocked out? Nope. He went the distance. Fuck. So the Flash couldn't beat him in his prime. You're gonna put him to fight this kid. Hey, did he just turn 20? Yes. He only has 6 professional fights. That's where the special ones really turn you into believers,
But you
whether
know
or
something
not.
about that?
Yeah.
I feel like people do an unjust, unfair justice because they compare about shit like that, and not everybody can do what Inoue has done, become a world
No,
champion in less fights,
no.
or like what Keyshawn has done, and
Mm,
then and quickly because I'm saying this with con lo mismo Boricua, talking about with Sam Desai, like, oh, is he ready for a world title fight? He's not ready for a world title fight. He's 22 years old, this and that. And it's like, man, you can't just compare. Each fighter is different. You can't
right,
compare
right.
the journey of because the visions matters, the
Yeah,
the competition matter, and all that
right.
stuff matters. And and
Now
it
you're
seems
talking.
like and
Yeah,
it seems like people crucify these young fighters and put this extra pressure on them to, yeah, um the world title is that goal. But if you're not ready, you're not ready.
right, right. So this shit ain't easy, bro. This
No,
shit
it's
is not
not.
easy. No, 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 no. So like me and you, what our whole conversation is, we're talking about a guys or two guys having either the possibility of moving one division south or north of the equator, right?
Yes.
That's what we're talking about. And our fears about these great fighters and one that may fall to the other because of one weight division. And throughout our whole conversation, I couldn't help but think one thing, and the world's buying in to Terrence Crawford jumping up 3.
And and people forget about when are they gonna fight? September, right?
September,
When is Terrence Crawford's birthday? September. So
P38.
he'd be 38 coming to that fight with
Yep.
no tune-up fight in between. And you're trying to sell this to me that man, listen.
No, this is a fair fight. No, no, I already understand. I'm with the mindset. What you're selling me is his name. Two giant
Yeah,
sized names of two men in their career that are staples in boxing. Let's just call it for what it is. Both these men, respectable for their countries, represented well. They've had legendary careers. Both of them Hall of Famers, first ballot Hall of Famers. Both of them. Okay. So what you're selling me is two giant names. I just got to be smart about that coming into the fight because I don't want any of you to take your hard-earned money and put it on Terrence, just like we put it on Mike Tyson, just like we put it on all these guys that we bet it with our heart. We are a fan of Terrence Crawford. You're betting with your heart. You're not using logic.
I think, I think, honestly, I think Terrence Crawford is willing to sacrifice his O to have some whole bunch of
I
O's
explained that.
for a whole bunch of O's when it comes to that check, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I explained that. And at what point would I ever knock Terrence Crawford for doing such a thing? Let me tell you something right now. You gave us a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, brother. And you have a family. There's life after boxing.
Yes.
If what you did put you in this kind of conversation to lead you to here to market your body of work. What you're selling is your lifetime of work, Terrence Crawford. And there is no shame in cashing in. I'm not saying he's going to lay down. What Terrence Crawford is actually doing is saying, I'm Terrence Crawford. I'm the first man to unify in two separate weight division, and I've been number one on the pound for pound list for quite some time. This is who I am. I'm putting that up against the opportunity to fight you so that I can go down as a 5 division world champion. And by the time I fight you, he should have unified because he would go get the IBF title. So by the time he meets Saul, he would have all 4 belts again when Saul fights in May. Okay. So what he did is he said, I have my name. This is almost $1 billion fight, Turkey. I'll fight Saul. They said, okay. And Terrence said, one more thing. I said, what? Can I try to win the fight? They said, yes. Terrence said, shit. If I'm selling my name, selling what I'm worth, my body of work, you're giving me the opportunity and you're telling me you can win the fight. Best scenario of a story like that I've ever seen in my life, Kurt Warner with the Rams. Kurt Warner was working in a supermarket bagging groceries and playing arena football. That's what we call it, right? And they brought him up to the Rams. Now we got to remember what happened. The Rams wanted to lose every game that year. That way they can get a number 1 pick. Their star quarterback got hurt, so they already had their guy. They didn't need to pay anybody else. So they went and got Kurt Warner that wasn't even playing in like AAA or anything. He was literally playing in arena league football. That's why they made a fucking movie about him on Netflix, because his story's crazy. And they told Kurt Warner when he walked in, don't get comfortable, because after the season is over, you no longer have a job. You're gonna go back. You're gonna go back to where you came from, ex-security. And then Kurt was like, he was being set up. He turned around and he asked him, could I at least try to win? What do you mean win? You actually think you can win in the NFL? Yeah, fuck it. Try to win. This motherfucker went off. Woo, 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 woo. Super Bowl. They didn't know what to do. He rose. The fucking owners were eating their nails. They're supposed to be losing every game. This motherfucker's out there winning. Until he made them a believer. They became the greatest turf on the show on turf. They changed the helmets, all because of Kurt Warner. He was a nobody. Like that's why they made a movie out the dude. And it's like these are like Terrence Crawford, man. They giving him an opportunity. He's asking them, can I at least try to win? You think you're gonna jump up 3 weight divisions? Go ahead, try to win. He fuck around and fucking shocks the world, bro, and pulls this shit off. I mean, I he would have done some Superman shit. That's exactly. I would be in awe. I would be in awe. I would truly be, because our fear is Naoya Inoue, possibly one of the greatest fighters of our generation, moving up just one more weight division from where we feel he's capped at. Same situation with Terrence Crawford. We feel he's capped at 154.
Yeah.
He got to from 147. He fought Majamar and went 12 rounds. We were all saying he might be capped at 154. By saying he's capped at 154, you want him to jump up 3 more to fight Iron Chick? Where do these people live? Fantasy, and the fact that they're selling it to him. And there's actually people debating the fight already. No, Terrence skills. I'm like, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, that's not the version of Terrence you're going to see on that night.
Yeah.
He's not going to move nothing like he did at 154, at 147. In fact, you might say to yourself going into the 3rd, 4th round, I don't even know this fighter.
Yeah, it's gonna be like I said, this year boxing is gonna be crazy. Like after like Saturday, I always said that February 22, excuse me, is gonna show us the outlook of this year. How Virgil Ortiz versus Madrimov performs, how the second fight with Beterbiev and Bivol, who comes up on top. Can Bivol win this time? Or
I
is
think Bivol
Beterbiev
might win.
or Beterbiev is just too much? Because at the end of the day, whoever wins, if they go to a trilogy, well, that's gonna be crazy. But who's the mandatory for that weight division?
The,
David
David
Benavidez.
Benavidez.
And Benavidez, there's no excuses. He has to challenge those
No,
guys.
no. Okay. Wait. There's another situation where those interim belts fuck over David the Monster Benavidez. You do realize he would have to agree to fight him. He doesn't become their mandatory no more. He's supposed to be the next man in line, true indeed. And if the organization orders it, it kicks in the strength of the interim. You're going to have to convince them first. And they're going to have to tell the number 1 mandatory guy to wait, right? And, it depends. He has 2 interim belts. How, whatever organization views the view structure and the rules, I'll tell you what they say then. But I know that all interims don't have the same rule structure. So we're going to have to really break that shit down. And which one is more honorable than the other one. Because I'm telling you right now, that's why they were saying in the announcements of the thing, Arthur, if you win this fight, would you consider fighting David the Monster Benavidez? Key word, would you consider? They didn't say he was your mandatory. They said he was the next star, and that's who Turkey Al-Sheet wanted to see you fight next. There was no, and say, oh, mandatory, he had obligation. No. So, I mean, although David the Monster Benavidez, that fight with Morrell, a lot of people want to fucking try to downplay it or whatever. That was an awesome fight. I
Yeah,
think it
that
was
was a
good
good
for
fight.
boxing. I think it was good for boxing. And the situation with those interim belts is kind of fucked up, man, right? Because you would think that interim belts would give you all, more power.
You know who's
Instead,
fighting
it's like
for an
a
interim
trap.
belt for that weight class?
Huh?
Uh, someone is fighting for an interim belt for that same day of the February the 22nd. Joshua Buatsi versus Cameron Smith for the WBO interim, I believe.
There's other fighters that fight more than Naoya Inoue. They're just young lions. The only time you see fighters fight 4 and 5 times a year when they're young and hungry, like Abdullah Mason that fought 5 times, right? So when these guys are hungry, sometimes you'll see them fight a lot. As you get more famous, it gets a little bit tougher to book these fights. You got more promotional, these big arenas to try to book a date. And Las Vegas, if you don't know this, is booked for like the next 15, 20 years. That's why we put our fights at 11 o'clock at night in boxing so that it doesn't interfere with all the Las Vegas shows that are already booked. And they keep that open for sports slots and crazy shit past 11 in Vegas type shit. Because the day is over for Vegas, basically, in the sport. It never goes to sleep as money, but as events, though that shift will be over. And then I think the next shift starts at 5 or 6 in the morning and it goes from there on. Some shit like that, the rest of the shows. Because there's a big gap in between when they go on. So anyway, um, this it gets tougher, but it's Naoya Inoue is proving that you can be a mega superstar and still fight 4 times a year and be dedicated to the sport. And that's where he's really setting the bar for these fighters, and he's really lifting the truth behind all these guys fighting 1 time a year. That was one of my biggest concerns coming into that Keyshawn Davis fight with Danis Baranchek. If you didn't look, the last 3 years he fought once a year. No activity. He's fighting a young, hungry Keyshawn Davis that's coming into his third fight. And I was like, Keyshawn's activity was way more on the line. So, but who does that hurt? The fighter. The fighter. If they want to
Man,
forget what they got here for, Naoya Inoue is truly a class act. The money, you seen it. I put it on the screen. I'll put it up again. Here's a list of the top six boxers that made the most money in 2024. Right here, the highest paid boxers in 2024. It's right there. Tyson Fury made $147 million. Usyk made 122 million. Saul made 73 million. AJ made 60. Jake Paul made 49, and Naoya Inoue made 42. He's on a
48.
list, and he's the only man on that list that fought 4 times a year. The only man that remotely fought anything like that that's making that kind of money. It goes to speak to his excellence. And his journey is not like yours. He's on some legendary shit. So that if you try to chase down what it took him a lifetime to beat, well, then damn it, you're going to have to go collect all 3 rings and the magic spell book to open up the fucking door to fight the boss fight, right? Just to get to him. That's what Naoya Inoue is doing. He's making it tough to reach him. And 4 times a year, man, you're gonna to catch him, it's gonna be a problem. Because when we're thinking about a boxer's achievements, right? And you know, look at how old Saul Canelo Alvarez is, right? What is he, all of 33, 34 years old? He has
34.
61 professional fights. Terrence Crawford has 41 professional fights, right? 40, 41, right? Professional fights. And Terrence Crawford unified in 2 separate weight divisions. Now, I said all of that to say this. Naoya Inoue is still in his 20s, 29. He's in his 20s. He literally took their records and chopped them in half and completed everything they accomplished in half the time. Saul got 61 fights. He hasn't completed what Naoya Inoue's done. Naoya Inoue doesn't need 61 fights to beat you in accomplishments. He's doing it much faster, much quicker. It's it speaks to his excellence. So he's on some Tom Brady shit that if you're gonna chase him, it's not gonna be as easy as, I got 4 belts or I was a 4 division world champion. All you would have to do is get 5 to beat me or something. It's not gonna be that easy to chase him down. But I also like what he's doing for the sport, to the young men that are growing up, that are watching this unfold, that even come across it maybe later and find out what kind of, that's what you're going to have to do if you want to beat his records. Because if you're a numbers guy, these are the numbers. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
yeah, I
Um, all I gotta say that each fighter, uh, they carved their history. They everybody got a unique accomplishment, you know,
mm,
and accomplishments that the fans us will remember them from, like what Inoue has done, what Canelo has done, what Crawford has done, what Yusuke has done. All these fighters, we're gonna look back and like, man, remember year 2024 to 2025 when we had these pound for pound fighters at that pound for pound list. Man, it was on fire. Undisputed, undisputed, undisputed. We never seen this before.
no,
We never seen back to back to back undisputed. Well, come on, man.
it was
That's
crazy. It was crazy.
yeah, it was
I mean, and then
crazy.
and then, and then you know,
We're
you know,
spoiled. We're spoiled as boxing
oh no,
fans.
we're a sport because we even got Josh Taylor that became undisputed, Devin Haney, the
Yeah,
Charlo twin. You know,
Charlotte. Yeah,
yeah, man. We had so many. I mean, at one point it was like, and then all of a sudden it was just like almost overnight. I blinked, and there was only one undisputed champion still remaining, staying strong. The entire time, Naoya Inoue has been a beacon of light into the sport of boxing, showing men that you can be number one and they could only be one belt in the division and one man could hold the responsibility and answer all challenges. He's literally putting boxing to the test right before our eyes. You're not going to appreciate the special boxer that Naoya Inoue is until it's all said and gone. He's gone. So I encourage the people that are coming across him, get to know him. Watch some of his fights. Go watch some of his highlights. I guarantee you, you won't be disappointed. And with this fight in Las Vegas, I have to be there because when you witness the greats, I didn't need someone to walk up to me and tell me Michael Jordan was great. Even though he didn't play on my team, he was beating my Lakers all the time with Magic Johnson in them, because that was my team at the time. You didn't have to convince me. I already knew it. You didn't have to tap me on the shoulder and tell me that Tom Brady's great, right? But if you have the chance to see these guys in person while you're alive, I recommend doing so. And as for me or your fighter, your favorite fighter, whoever it may be, it could be anyone. You know, don't don't go by that moment in sports because you were mad at somebody you never got to see him. I watched Michael Jordan play his entire career on TV, and I never got to see him in person. And by the time he retired, I was like, fuck, that I got to appreciate him. That's why I went out to see Brady a few times. And, because I was like, shit. But this dude right here, man, everything he's doing for boxing, man, I love it. In and out of the sport, the way he conducts himself, the way he fights, the way he carries himself as a champion. It's everything I would like all our guys to be like.
Are you
But
gonna watch him
unfortunately,
live?
huh?
Are you gonna watch him live? If he comes to Las Vegas.
Oh, 100%. You know, I've already told my wife that you know, if we have to, we'll sell everything in the house, and you know, you, you know, and I'm gonna go out there and camp out until the fight starts. You know, so
That's gonna be great. That's gonna be great. I'm happy for
I
you. I
have to
think
go
I
out
think
there,
it's gonna
man.
be
Go see
around
Mayweather.
your birthday, right?
Yeah, it's on my birthday too. If the fight holds up on that date and everything, it would be on my birthday, June 14th.
That's that's cool. That's cool. Yep.
I took that as a sign. I took that as a sign. You know, I was like, yo, you know, they have chosen you. You know, I gotta go.
Yeah,
You
you
know, I've
gotta
seen
go.
a lot of boxers live. I've seen a lot of fights. You know, one of the ones that come into mind that stings a little. I was there in attendance when Felix Trinidad and Bernard Hopkins fought in
Oh
New York.
wow.
Yeah, I remember the World Trade event happened, and the fight got postponed. We
Yeah,
went back
yeah.
down. We bought our tickets. Um, we went to the fight, man, and I never seen so many banderas down to the wayside walking out of the place. Like it deflated the building, and these dudes was talking shit. And the moment the night they we was all quiet driving back. We were sure that he was gonna win all the belts in the tournament because it was a tournament that they had.
Yeah.
And Felix lost, and that was like one of the biggest fights like that I went to that I remember that was like heartbreak. And then I go to see Supiel in Puerto Rico and he loses against the Amparo.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck, bro? And then I see them fight in New York and shit. Like okay, well, like in Massachusetts too. They all win. And I've seen like, I don't know, a lot of fights, a lot, but those were the ones that stuck out that I was like, damn, my Puerto Rican fighters had a fight lose on this night, you know.
Yeah, I'm itching for a great Puerto Rican boxer that carries the sport for the
Yeah.
island. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I'm looking for that too. We've
I
been
know
I've been we've been
I've
we've
been
needed that.
frustrated so many times. People
Yeah.
don't know, like, not that people don't know. We should know that the Felix Verdeo scandal. Um, a lot of boxers I could say, man, that was we thought they were gonna be good, but it wasn't really good. And it was like, man,
Right.
who's gonna be next? But
Yeah. Yeah, they fall off.
patience is key, and this year
Yep.
I'm excited. But I think I'm gonna end it off like with that. I
Yeah.
appreciate the time
Yeah, man, I've been up
that
here
we
for a
talk about
while. It's
boxing.
2 in the morning.
No,
What
it's
is it?
fine.
1? What time is it? Oh, it's gonna be 1. Okay, okay. My
Yeah,
other clock
man.
is
This man, I've been hibernating, man. This snow is actually
oh, this snow is crazy, man. I've been
crazy.
shoveling. Bro, I got my
Oh,
driveway, man.
what you think I was doing? I was doing the same thing.
No, 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 no. So I go outside and I shovel all the freaking snow, right? And make
Yeah.
sure that my wife can back out the driveway, right? Then all of a sudden the city comes down with their fucking plows and they plow my driveway with a big block of ice, and I'm chasing the guy with my smoothie. Ah! Right? This motherfucker, right? So last
They made a
night,
fucking igloo on your
man,
driveway.
I just finished it. Like I walked up the driveway, went in my house, and I saw on the camera him walk driving by like I'm like, you bastards, right? And they blocked me back in. So like last night before the snowstorm's coming in, it's real cute, right? Because me and my girl were in bed and shit. And she's like, yeah, we got this snowstorm coming and everything. I'm like, great. So when the snow falls, get up in the morning, call the landlord, and have them come ply the thing. She said, "Motherfucker, we own the house." I was like, "Oh, we gotta get out there and show them shit, right?" So I'm like kidding with her and shit, but it has been a pain in the ass because it snows, then it was rain, it made the snow heavy. You know
Yeah,
that
tougher, yeah.
heavy as fuck. And then the next 4 hours, it turned into ice.
Oh yeah.
So and then I'm throwing down the rock salt. I step in the house, the rock salt's covered by the fresh snow. I just wasted my rock salt.
Yeah.
And then and look, no. I do the ramp, then I do my driveway, right? I came back up the driveway. It looked like I didn't shovel shit. It was all packed with snow already falling
all
down.
all for nothing, man.
Oh, and look, I literally turned around. It looked like I didn't do a damn thing.
Man, I be sometimes I'll be like contemplating. I look out in the window and the blinds. I'm like, ugh, do
Nah,
I
I'm still
really want to
dressed
go
in my school
outside?
attire.
But
I was
it's like I got no excuses because we've been warned. We've been warned
tired.
because the groundhog and Groundhog's Day, the groundhog told us that we're gonna have 6 more weeks of winter. So no hay excusa. And Marmota
Wow.
dijo, vamos a tener 6 más semanas. We're gonna have 6 more weeks. So better prepared. And well, we had to go outside and shovel today. So you know what I mean?
Yo, next year, bro, I don't give a fuck, bro. I'm going to that groundhog thing where they be having on TV. I'm gonna
Yeah.
pull out my gap and be like, "Yo, don't even go back in that hole. Like, back up, back. Don't you know?
You're not
Whatever."
the first person that said that, bro. I heard like imagine like they bendito like bro. Those ceremonies are so crazy, bro. I just find it fascinating. It's an American holiday, but
Nah, bro. I'm gonna have
they dress all suit up. You know what I mean? And they
man,
have
I get a little top hat and shit. I'm gonna hire the
yeah.
true goons to grab them up and give them some body shots. All
I don't
right.
know. They got some that groundhog got security because when he comes out of that hole, they grab him. They're like, Peter Winkle has declared six
Yeah,
more weeks of winter. Everybody cheers. Whoa! And it's like what?
yeah. Nah,
He's
bro.
he's the president or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, listen, been amazing show. Thank you,
Yeah,
Carlos,
it's
for
been funny. Yeah,
stepping
definitely.
by. Hey, Carlos, it's always been my pleasure when you come by. You always get my boxing mind going and stuff. So thank you. Here
I
at Round One
appreciate it.
Sports Talk, thank you for everybody tuning in, showing the love in the video. Please, on your way out, don't forget to give these videos a like. It really helps out the channel. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. So, fight fans, we're on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Carlos, you have a good night, and let's just
You
hope
too, man.